Okay, hey everybody, what's going on? Just give me a second, just getting things together. I know this is kind of sudden, but I don't know if you've seen my notice. I just posted. Yeah, I'm sort of on a little high right here. Good, happy high, creative high. And this is the art flow happening. Um, yeah, this is I'm catching up on some art. I just wrapped up issue two of Kajus and Cowboys, and then I'm looking forward to issue three. We actually are hoping to do 12 issues. We're being published by Second Sight Publishing, and we're coming out next year. And it looks like possibly, don't hold me to it though, but it looks like possibly the first book's going to drop probably around the summertime, so early summer or something like that. So, but we'll definitely keep people up up to date on that kind of stuff. But yeah, that's what it's looking like roughly. So anyway, looks like today I'm gonna be catching up on some sketch card stuff, man. Yeah. It just it's weird because again I've been sort of I've been in my production mindset. I don't know if anybody who's worked in production or any of that kind of stuff, say in advertising or even in film or television, animation, you just your frame of thinking is you're just like, I gotta get the job done, get it done. I keep hearing my old teacher and mentor Charlie Banks. He's in my head. Get it done, Washington. Get it done, and so once I get into that mindset, I swear nothing else can get in there. Nothing else. It's just me ensuring that the whatever I'm working on is done. You can't. I don't mess around. Pretty much. I always believe that that once you're on projects and stuff, especially something as pretty intense, I would say, like doing a comic book. I mean, I don't think anybody, until you've actually jumped in there into the production of a comic book, I don't think you truly have an idea. It is not easy. I've been down this road a few times, so I think I'm pretty much a pro in doing this kind of stuff. But it definitely something where you take it in the sense of when I was working on a film and you saw all these people moving around and all these different parts of the machine. Now you think about like with a comic book, and there's still people, but it's not as many people. But still, there's this thing where you got to sit down, you got to think about your production schedule, you got to think about realistically too. I mean, it's something where you can't approach it with a mindset of just like, yeah, okay, I got this idea, and then you start going out there and you're telling people you got this idea, and then next thing you know, you're like, yeah, I'm gonna get it out in like, yeah, in the month, and then in the month comes around, and next thing you know, you're still at the stage of still concepting. I mean, it's definitely something that it's not for the faint of hearts, and I'm sure you don't need me to tell you that. There's a lot of people. You can just look online and you see the stories of people who are, just talking about projects that just haven't been completed and stuff. Hey, Ashley, I'd like to thank everybody. If you don't mind sharing this would be great. I try to share a little bit, but you know how that is. Oh man, the algorithm on FB on Facebook is really really tricky. So if you feel like sharing this, I really appreciate it. This piece right here that I'm working on is this is a oh, come on, Frank, think. I think a little bit of that rum, and that rum's working its way through me. I had a little bit of rum in my coffee this morning. Well, it's like I have this celebratory sort of drink. Every time I finish a project, I always have like a sort of like, yay, man, I did it, crushed it, got it done, got the stuff off, that kind of thing. Not a lot of alcohol, but just enough just to get the mindset, get the molecules in the brain and all that fun stuff going. But anyway, I did a bunch before I had really started working on Kajus and Cowboys issue 2. I was messing around. There's a point where I'm working with Matthew. Matthew sent me the script, and then I start working on what is it, the thumbnails. And then between those periods, you know, those little periods where I may not hear from him or whatever, so then I start you know, just messing around, because, you know, again, you know, as an artist, you know, you have to keep drawing, you know, that's how you get better. So my thing is, like, you know, I continuously draw anytime I can. And so, you know, I've been picking up a lot of these sketch card blanks from various things, you know, people selling them and stuff. And this one was an animation tribute sketch card. And I saw this and I thought this was pretty neat. So I said, you know what, I'll pick these up. So I got a bunch of these just sort of lying around. And I said, you know, let me just work on them. So I actually have some more where I did like Mazinger Z and stuff like that. Yeah, I did a bunch of them, Dr. Hell and everything. And they're just sitting there. They're in processes of incompletion. But this is the one that was much more like, I've been aching to want to draw the new Jet Jaguar going up against the old Jet Jaguar. And so I just said, okay, you know, once I wrap up the Codgers and Cowboys issue 2, then I'll jump on this and start you know, hooking it up. So anyway, again, thank you for coming. What I just did is I just hit this with a little bit of my Kneaded eraser. The Kneaded eraser, I've been using this since art school. It's just a way to tap back some of that lead. You know, as I always tell people who are, especially my my fans in the Kaju world, nothing says real sense of proportion and perspective with your Kaju piece than a little helicopter. You have to put some kind of vehicle or something in there to help with the scale of size. All right, you know, just to give a sense that this thing is a giant. So anyway, here we go. I'm gonna start using. I got various pens here. I'm working with got some Copics, pens. I got my Microns, and I also have my Pentel brush pen. And I also have some more Copics. And what do you got? I got this one right here. Oh, this is a new one. And the name, I love when they put this silvery embossing. What is that? Pentel? Microline pen. So this one's a pretty fun one. Sometimes I'll just find stuff and I'll just use it. You know, if it works, it works. It doesn't, it doesn't. And I learn. All right. So I'm going to be using, this is my Staedtler's Multiliner color. This piece will eventually be full color. So right here, this is just a scenario where you have the original Jet Jaguar, let's see, meeting up with the new one that just came out. And pretty much he's just like, he's not having it. He's doing like his famous kick. And then of course I'm putting like what I call my little special effects. That's one thing I can promise the people who end up picking up a copy of the series Kajis and Cowboys, is that I'm an old schooler who I love sound effects, and I love that sound effects were incorporated with the artwork. It's so important. I mean, not to take away from letterers out there today, but there's many times I look at a book and I'll be honest with you, it's just the sound effects look like they're just static art. You know, they're just placement, and you know, I'm a believer where I feel like the sound effects are just as important as the lettering just for talking, you know, and so they should in some way be incorporated with the artwork so it fits. Now it's not everyone, but again, you know, it's a technique that, you know, it was nice back then. I'm currently reading a couple of volumes of Alpha Flight done by John Byrne, and I'm telling you one thing, it's taking me back. It's really taking me back. The color scheme, everything. It's just the boldness of it, the energy in it. It's just, it's so incredible. It's so exciting. I mean, he truly is one of my heroes that I really admired growing up. You know, Herb Trimpe's on the top of that list. Jack Kirby, of course, but John Byrne is, man, his work is solid, and I'm definitely heavily influenced. I don't make any apologies for it. And I feel that there's a generation that doesn't know him. Doesn't know his art. You know, they kind of hear about it and it's just kind of like, oh, he's this dude who did work on the X-Men and he did stuff on, you know, maybe even if they even remember Fantastic Four, which was, man, his stuff was brilliant. X-Men was incredible. But just looking at his Alpha Flight stuff, I mean, oh, it's just absolute beautiful. And the coloring, one of the things I noticed about the coloring which it reminds me of like when I was doing a lot of advertising work, was that I was always told like you want people to be able to see something from at least 10 feet away. That was always a belief. Like at least the color. Like the color should be bold enough that from 10 feet away, somebody would be like, huh. And that's what you want. You want that. You want the huh, because then the huh may lead to someone coming over to investigate it. And that's always been my belief. So if you're making a book or something dark, then how are you going to get somebody to come over to go, huh? You know, I want somebody to look at it and be like, oh, okay, let me investigate and then open up. I remember when I first saw when my mom took me to Child World in Dedham, Mass, and, walked right through the door. And I remember the spinner rack it was around 10 feet away. And, of course it was a spinner rack. But what really grabbed me was the Shogun Warriors. I remember the Shogun Warriors, like, I could see the faint colors of it. It was like the colors of it. And the classic picture on the front of it, I think it was Radine was in front. And I saw that, man, and it just was like, ooh, please, Mom, please, please. Oh, it was so exciting. She just looked at me. She said, okay. And at the time, it was like one of those, they were like 10 comics in a bag. So it was like maybe $5. I swear, I think it was like $5. Like that's laughable by today. Like one book today, you got books selling for like $25 floppy. It's mind-boggling. But anyway, yeah. So yeah, it is. It's pretty wild. So anyway, I'm breaking up the 003, so you guys can check it out. And this is my really tiny one. And I gotta admit, this first I will admit I do have a reference book that I worked off for the I have a book for Jaguar, and I also has a reference book for the new version as well, just because you need reference. It's very important. It's funny, as somebody who, when I was first in art school, when I first went in, I was all like comic books, and then once I was about to leave art school, my teachers were like, man, you don't got any comic book related stuff in your portfolio. And I was like, yeah, because I wasn't feeling it, just wasn't feeling it. I just was, I don't know, it was a weird place I was at. I remember I was always driven by a need to have a very eclectic portfolio. I didn't want to get typecast, my art style. I didn't want to be like, well, yeah, this, I'm a, comic book artist. And that's, in my mind, I felt that was limiting. I wanted to be something where I'm an illustrator. And I went to, that was what my degree was commercial illustration. And I was like, what does it mean to be an illustrator? An illustrator, in my frame of thinking, is somebody who can just draw anything. Just in your style, of course, but you can pretty much draw anything. You can work on anything. You can do toys, you can do comics, you can do trading cards, you can do advertising. You can do anything. If somebody needed you to draw. I know I've heard of illustrators who have done work for realtors. Like when some people want their houses drawn or whatever. Yeah, the illustrators come in and they'll like, okay, you paying, boss? All right, let me draw your house, and that kind of thing. There's no like specialty to it. They're just like, yep, or like caricatures. I've done caricatures. So yeah, I that was my whole thing, my whole spill. I was just like, nope, I don't want to get pigeonholed into one form of something. I want it to be like, yep, the whole art industry is a vast ocean, and I want to be a part of that ocean. I want to build me a nice little boat on that ocean, and I want to travel to various different places and experience different things, and hopefully expand upon my portfolio. I wanted a portfolio that was eclectic, something where that people would look at and go, wow, man, you did that, you did that, you did that. I wanted to ensure that that there was a lot of stuff in there, and also enhance my own skill set. That's always been my motto: enhance, learn as much as you can. Man, it's Jaguar's face, man. I will say that sketch cards really, really helped me to. I'm glad, and I like to thank Stephen Franks. I just did some work with Stephen Franks actually. There was a campaign for King Kong, and out of the blue, yeah, he reached out to me, man. It's so funny how things like that, like somebody you worked with years ago on, and all of a sudden he reached out. I did a lot of stuff with Fivefinity Productions. Fivefinity was like, I remember it too. It was so like weird. It was like I was really doing a lot of advertising work back then, and but still, it was a part of me. I mean, I'll admit, there's always that part of me where I love comics in a degree where I was like, well, let me just say that I love sequential art, and then comics falls into that sequential art as well. So, but I love sequential art. So anyway, during that time, I would always just post stuff, like I do now. I post a lot of different things. And what happened was, he reached out to me, he sent a DM to me and stuff, and and I was like, oh, okay, all right, and I'm heavily into advertising work, so I was doing pretty well, and he was like, hey, I saw your work, and I was wondering if you'd be interested in doing some sketch cards, and I had never heard of sketch cards. I really didn't. I was like, what are you talking sketch cards? What's that? And he's like, yeah, there's these cards. And he was like, yeah, and people buy them. And I said, get out of here. People are buying miniature images of artwork? Really? Is that collectors? Really? It was mind boggling to me. Like, I had no clue that this was a thing. And then, yeah, it was a thing. People, it still is. People were spending sometimes lots of money for these beautiful, I mean, sometimes intricate pieces of artwork done on like this small little 2.5 by 3.5 size ratio, and it just was mind boggling. So yeah, he brought me in, and his company at the time, he was doing a bunch of IPs. Yeah, I got to do Archie. He did an Archie set. He had he did Lady Death. I remember that. That was cool. I think he did Hack and Slash. I remember Hack and Slash. He did that. I think he did Dead at 17. He did that as well. The big ones for me that really made me excited, of course, was when he got Voltron and King Kong. He got the John DeVito. I hope I'm saying his name right. John DeVito. King Kong, which was, I was like, ooh, okay. I mean, I had been really aching. I had heard that there was a Godzilla set that came out, and I had missed it or so by a year or so. And I was bummed by it. I was like, oh man, Godzilla, are you kidding me? But anyway, he got the King Kong one, and so I worked on that one, and then he had the Voltron. I think the Voltron came before the King Kong. I could be wrong though. And that was so much fun. I was always in the mindset, I'm gonna switch this up. I was always in the mindset, I said, man, are there any more artists out there that love to draw robots the way I love to draw robots, because you really don't see them. You didn't, not here, not in the West. That was the one thing that always sort of stuck with me, because I was like, where are they? Where are these artists that love drawing mech and machinery and stuff like that? Really good. And over the years, I've seen a few. Actually not even a few. There's been a nice, like a huge emergence of individuals who are just like phenomenal mech artists. And that's exciting. That's really exciting. But back then, I really didn't see too many. I really thought I was like this lone wolf out there, just, where are you? Where's the fandom? Don't people care about mechs too? And you find out years later, yeah, they do. There's people that actually do care about mechs and stuff. And kajus. But anyway, yeah, so I worked on those, and then he did the Voltron set, and then he did a coffee book when he brought me on. And then the big one was, which I think it's still pretty big, I assume, is Zombies versus Cheerleaders, and I got to work on the first issue. I did a short story in the first issue. I think that's my thing. It was funny. Just the other day, I someone on Instagram, they congratulated me, which was awesome. I'm very honored because about Kajus and Cowboys. But I think the thing about it is that it's like I've done numerous different books and stuff as a creator, and I've always kind of, worked on a few of them, and then it's just something will come along and just stops the process. So it's like, I've definitely done stuff, but things would just get in the way. Something would get in the way, and it just the process gets stopped. This time around, I'm really like I want to see Codgers and Cowboys at least get a little legs underneath it. My mindset's like we're coming out through Second Sight Publishing, and and I want to get as many books as possible. I want people to get hooked into it. I want kids to get hooked into it. I mean, I would like to say generation. I want kids who, have that same feeling like I had when I first started Shogun Warriors. Something that's different and unique and different kind of take on robots and stuff like that. Yeah, my take on robots is I love the more simplistic kind of style set. Like again the early stuff. Go Nage. What's the guy? Get a Robo Ken. Oh God, so bad with names. But people know what I'm talking about. But he's the father of Get a Robo and stuff like that. I love robots like that. That's my flavor. I think that there's other people out there that are bringing wonderful stuff, like with mechs and stuff, like a bunch of parts and stuff on it. Me, I'm probably more in the house frame of the wheelhouse of like how if you see how John Byrne would draw like a giant robot with there'd be shadows and stuff like that. I actually after just completing this issue 2, action, I'm noticing that it's bringing back those old feelings that I had when I would do action, action scenes and stuff. I really love that. John Byrne's action. That's all I kept thinking about. What would John Byrne do? Now, what would you do, Frank? So. Wow. I don't know if anybody's in there. If you guys got to check out the Godzilla Singular Point, it was actually pretty decent. I mean, for what it was worth, I always say I'm just glad that Godzilla is still out there and people are talking about it and people are enthusiastic about it. I will say that I was more jazzed like near the end, like the very end, because when they started showing that stuff and they started playing I think that Godzilla's music is so like it has to be part of the stuff that they're doing with it. It has to be. Like you can't get around it. It's just like Star Wars. Like you can't watch Star Wars without hearing the music. Yeah, I'm gonna get a little drink of I've already finished my rum coffee just in case anybody can good. Hey, thanks Kevin. And Cole, thank you. Thanks for sharing, Cole. Appreciate it. I'm actually drinking tea now. Just to get, it was only 1 cup. Me and Jess are down to like 1 cup of coffee a day, and we actually went out for a run this morning. It was like a little over 50 degrees, so I got like a mile and a half and stuff, and it was nice. It was a nice run. But anyway, going back to like the Godzilla Single Point, yeah, it was like I think it's important that they keep the music, the soundtrack, because then I think that helps pull people back into it. People like myself. I mean, I'm still, all I want, honestly, if I was to see a Godzilla movie, is I would love to see an animated version of the Showa era stuff. Like someone went along and was like, okay, we're gonna do all that stuff leading to destroy our monsters. If I was gonna say like a fanboy wish, that would be my wish. But animated really well though, especially as I'm somebody who worked in animation. So, I did storyboards and concept stuff, and I got to hang around with some really talented animators. So to me, animation is very important. And and I can look at something and go, oh man, it's not, it could just, So I would really want to see really top-notch animation in it. This is just a fanboy in me talking. If I was to sit back and look at it realistically in the sense of cost, I go, oh, okay, I understand that because of cost and stuff like that, this is why they're taking these shortcuts and whatever. But the fanboy in me would be like, man, I would love to see it just animated, so incredible. Can you imagine that? Like and a coherent storyline. You know, like if they did 3 movies, say like if they did 3 Godzilla. All right, let's say a trilogy, right? And the trilogy ends up on Destroy All Monsters. That'd be incredible. And you stick with the aliens. I forgot who they were. The black hole aliens. The one. Oh man. And then you have Mecha Godzilla, and you have Megalon, and you have Hedorah. I mean, there's so many you could have. I think they could do it, or a series. I will admit that I'm more in the context of when I do a comic book, is that I feel like a comic book should grab you. So there should be action. There should be action, and there should be action, and then it should be, and you use that action to help pull. You use the action to help pull people in, and then the story. And the story helps pull. Because it's funny, because it's like as I'm reading Alpha Flight, I'm noticing how like when John Byrne first started out Alpha Flight, he had the first book or so, there was action. Like he had that creature Tundra and stuff, and this massive beast, and a couple of stories. And then now I'm at the point where after what's his name, Matt Hudson, the original Guardian / Vindicator, he's already passed away. So I'm at this point where they're just trying to figure things out, and whether or not Alpha Flight's gonna still exist. And it's a lot of talking, it's a lot of communicating. It's very soap opera-ish, and that's what I love. Yeah, hey Kevin, yeah. I actually got this music from this is like royalty free music from YouTube. Ideally I would love to be blasting like, Toho music or something like that, but I plan on putting this this video up on my channel as well on YouTube. So I'll have to say, another thing is that the videos that I do, they're fun. I do enjoy these, but again, it goes right back to the whole thing of production, where it's like you got to be mindful of your time. I see a lot of young artists, and I did it too back in the day. Trust me, I totally understand. Is that you feel like you want to do everything, and that can get you in trouble. Like I want a video, I'm gonna do a video channel, and then I'm gonna produce it. And it's like, okay, well, you got to sit back and ask yourself the question: What are you doing? Are you making a comic book? Because that in itself is going to take time, and then you're going to want to also have a podcast and a channel and all this stuff, and then and what kind of job are you doing? Is this going to be your full on job? Those are the things you have to ask yourself realistically, because again, once that momentary high of the first announcement when you say something, and you start getting people pumped up, now there comes a point. I remember one of my mentors told me, he said, Frank, he said, it's easy for the bells and whistles, Frank. He said, bells and whistles are easy. Anyone can do bells and whistles. But then when you got to follow through, that's when it gets tough. And you got to, all of a sudden, it's like, okay, people start sitting there and going, okay, well, what do you got? Where's your product? And you're sitting there with this look on your face going, I'll get there. You never want to be in that situation. I know I don't want to be in a situation. Me and Matthew have spoken extensively about it. Where, nope. I said, I think that with Kajus and Cowboys being picked up by Second Sight Publishing, it changed. Something changed, because originally when we did it, I'll be honest, I kind of was like. I was like, I don't know. I've worked on so many different projects, and you just go, it happens, that kind of thing. Me and Matthew have been working on a webcomic, going on by now, it's past 6 years now, I want to feel. But it was called Secret Lives of Villains, of Supervillains, and a lot of people like it and stuff. But, it was pretty much in that mindset, and I've been bouncing around the different projects on various people's books and stuff, and that's cool. I mean, working on other people's stuff, it affords me the opportunity to be able to scratch that artist and comic book ish that I have, and they're fun stuff. It's not like I'm working on projects I don't like. It's like projects I do like. So that's always,
So when we worked on when Matthew said, okay, Frank, I'm gonna do a story that it's almost like he definitely geared this for me, which I really appreciate that. He did something where he knows how passionate I am about it. Like again, what kajus and giant monsters and robots and stuff like that. This is a genre that it every few years it would just pop up here and there, and then all of a sudden it'll slowly go back into the abyss, and then people would go back to superheroes or whatever. And it was kind of disappointing, because I wasn't really seeing any like big time stuff. And then IDW did Godzilla, and that Frank really has been an advocate in getting it out there, and getting the word out and stuff with his art. And so when I started seeing stuff like that, that started giving me hope again, like that this is something magical, like something's happening in the fandom, and that maybe people are going to be interested in seeing possibly other artists come out and showing different styles too. Because I think that I personally love to see different styles of artist approach in different stories. Like I love Kaiju Max. Kaiju Max by Xander Cannon is amazing series. I suggest that if you haven't picked it up, you need to pick it up. There's a new one out called Territory. That's out. It was crowdfunded. Amazing. And there's a few others as well. And my brain just can't think. Well, just because I'm getting older. But yeah, but there's a lot of books, and then we're coming out. Let's throw a shout out for us. We're coming out with stuff, and it's all different. And that's the thing. Like we're doing. It's funny with the whole thing with cowboys. I know I'm going all over the place. I love cowboys. I love the spaghetti westerns. I love the Lone Ranger. I love all that stuff. I've been watching stuff with my mom. I think for me, working on this project right now, it's more of a feeling like that. I don't know if I can explain it. Any artist out there where you just draw. I've always worked from a more standpoint where it's like, yeah, I understand the rules of art, and things that you do in the foundation. I understand this. I get it. But also there's this part where for me, there's almost a connection to when I was young. So when I'm drawing, I'm it's almost those feelings of like, oh man, I must have feel like when I was watching, Clint Eastwood, spaghetti westerns, Lonesome Dove and all these other stuff, great, Unforgiven, and things like that, and that's what I'm feeling like when I'm drawing Bwin, yeah, and that's his name, Bwin. I actually went over it a couple of times with Jess. I was talking to him. I said, Jess, how that sound? Bwin. That's our protagonist. That's the name of that guy you've been seeing, the cowboy guy from Cowboys and Cowboys. His name is Bwin. So it's B apostrophe, was it B apostrophe W apostrophe N apostrophe N. And that's really, it's an acronym for bot with no name. But I was trying to find a way in which it can just sound off. So it's like Bwin. And that sounds pretty cool. It sounds very robotic. It's funny, sometimes the most simplest of names can be kind of cool. So and so when I'm drawing him, I'm definitely channeling a lot, thinking about how like the way Clint looked, and that feeling that I felt when I saw him, and a few dollars more and things like that. So it's not like me trying to copy the movie itself, but it's me drawing and that feeling where it's like, wow, man, this guy's really cool, man, and whatever, That's when I draw. That's what I think of. Same thing, like when I'm drawing kaiju's and stuff like that. I kind of submerge myself into the feeling of it. Like, man, yeah, this creature would do, and this creature would cause damage, and you'd be like, oh my god, and emotion, and I'm a huge fan of making kaiju, the creatures themselves, characters, important characters as well. I hate drawing. I hate anything to be thrown away. And I'm not a hoarder, but when it comes to like characters and stories, I feel like every character has a meaning and purpose. It just depends on how a person is treating them. Oh man, it's coming out pretty good. Guys, let me know, man. I've drawn a few of Jet Jaguars in the past. There's that great story I did with John Freeman and James Biggie. where we did a fan comic of Godzilla, John Freeman, from his story. It was called Jet Jaguar, Agent of Zootopia. And again, it was such a fun little story. Like literally what he did, he took you know, some of the tropes from the Showa era and just tweaked them up. It was a fun story. I say that's probably my only like Godzilla story that I've ever done. I'm freehanding a lot of this, by the way. Sometimes it comes to a point where you get the ruler and the ruler's just like, ugh. This is my old advertising days. I used to work in advertising. Advertising was all about maximizing like how much time, because you got to think about it. My deadlines were many times would be based on hours, or days. It could be a few days or whatever, or it could be hours. It could be like, hey, we need something by, it could be like, what time is it now? Eastern Standard Time is roughly 8:58. So say 9 a.m. They'd be like, hey, we need something by in the day. So in the day it'd be like 6 p.m. And I remember back in the old days we had to no, James did not have do anything with Cowboys and Cowboys. Kevin, James has nothing to do with Cowboys and Cowboys. James did do the lettering and stuff for the fan comic. I'm talking about the fan comic that I did with him and John Freeman years ago. That was done years ago. No, actually, I'm doing the cover work and everything, which is a huge thing. I have a huge stickler on that, just to say where it comes to artists. Like I'm one of those old school artists where I feel like it's important that the artist who did the interior art should be doing the covers. That's just my thing. It's like, again, I'm looking at which other one are you talking about? Yeah, that one. No, the other one. I don't know. Oh, Robot. Are you talking about Robot God Akamatsu? The one that me and James created? Yeah, James. I think James did covers for Robot God Akamatsu. Yeah. If that's what you're talking about, yes, that's the one. But I'm a huge fan of I think that it's important that at least the artists who did the interior art should at least have a cover. And if somebody wants to do a variant cover, then sure. And if you do a variant, please don't do like 15 or 20 of them. I don't know. I'm more in the belief that, one or two maybe tops, but I do believe that the artist that does the interior art should do the cover. I just feel like it's like, if that artist is good enough to do interiors, then they should be good enough to do a cover. And if it comes down to something to time, then that's a production question. Then you make the time to do it. I just feel that it's something where, like, if somebody picks up the book, they should feel like, oh yeah, if I like the art, the art on the outside, then they'd be like, okay, then I'll definitely like the art on the inside. That's just my personal opinion on that. And then if you want to do variants, have somebody do a variant, then sure, you can have other people do variants. But not too many variants, people. Yeah. I feel like that market is a very iffy market. Again, these are my personal opinions. I'm a very old school kind of artist when it comes to stuff like that. I just think that sometimes you don't have to make things complicated. It could be quite easy. All right, let's get his gears. Let's see. I did work on, just in case, I did work on some short stories with they got published by Alterna with John Freeman. There was a character called Franklin Gore. That was kind of fun. Franklin Gore was sort of like an homage to King Kong Escapes. So that's out there in the wind too. If people are interested. Draw some pieces. Yeah, I don't know, Kevin. I don't know. I don't know if James is doing any comic book stuff these days. You know, I'm sure. I'm sure James is still staying creative. I still occasionally. I just posted some stuff. I posted some stuff the other day, showcasing some of the stuff from Robot God Akamatsu. I guess Robot God Akamatsu is one of those things where I remember when we first were working on that and stuff, and the energy that we had and stuff, and people were really excited about it, and then it just what events things just got in the way. Something happened where it lost its momentum, and that happens. You know, it happens and stuff. And this time around, I don't want that to happen. You know. I don't want that to happen with Kajus and Cowboys. I really don't. I'm really like I think this year has been a year where
I suddenly, it's like,
oh, is he probably for IDW? He's probably doing it for IDW then. I know he's doing a ton for IDW. So that's probably what you're seeing. Yeah, I mean, I look at it. I was, you know, I think for me, with Robot Akamatsu, it was something that we had a lot of great energy going in, and then eventually something happened where the energy shifted, and you know, it just it's that thing sometimes when you're creating and stuff like that, and then if you don't have a plan, a strategy, a really solid strategy, then suddenly you'd be like, oh man, you know, what's going on, and I think that's what happened with Robot Akamatsu.
occasionally, sometimes I still do look at,
I still look at some of my old stuff, and I look at it sometimes. But you know, hey, you gotta move on. Now that I'm now doing Kajus and Cowboys, now that's kind of taking all my
sort of attention now.
it's almost like a trying to think treating it as almost a redemption
For myself,
just to see like, okay, Frank, can you go the distance? Because that's what I've done. I've worked on
a lot of small projects.
you know few short stories here and there and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm curious to see if I can go the distance. I'm curious by it. Oh man,
At the back.
and of course, in classic Frankie B style, I'm definitely taking some liberties. Like, you know, my view on drawing art is that the first thing is that it should be fun. You know, I don't think there's really, you know, I think that whatever your skill is,
Your style, excuse me.
your style, then that's your style, and that you should be able to just draw what you want to draw. You know, that's my first thought on that. You know, so again, like with this right here, you know,
In the anime, he did not. He wasn't like giant size, like this size in the anime. Just spoiler alert.
I don't know if I'm really surprising anybody, but yeah, he wasn't this size. He got bigger afterwards though, which was great.
Tell you, man, this cardstock's really nice. Yeah, take another little look at that. It's nice. Jaguar one.
Sketch cards are fun, man. They really are. I mean, and they can be addictive. You know, I as somebody who has a collection of sketch cards, I can tell you that they're very addictive because I love original artwork, and the fact that they're smaller, that's really cool. That makes it a lot easier. You know, I got a lot of stuff in portfolio cases and stuff like that, so they take up some room, but it definitely makes it easier.
All right. Hope you guys are enjoying this. By the way, I know I am. I'm just having. It's wild. Like when you've been working on something specific for, you know, for a little bit, and then all of a sudden you're just shifting and you're working on, you know, something that's not part of the university that me and Matthew are building. Then it's kind of like, because I like, I like drawing these things. I do. I like drawing though. It's fun. Just heard a weird thing. Just on another note, I just heard a weird thing about G Fest. I don't know if anybody else heard anything about it. That they're not allowing people to be selling what is it, Toho IPs at their up and coming con in next year. Been hearing some rumblings about that. Not surprised by it, really. I get it. Oh, let's see. I remember it was like kind of a bunch of like rubbing and stuff on it. So let's put this kind of thicker line around it right there. Oh, let's see. I like that they've individual pieces of a large broader piece of art. Yeah, I agree with you, Kevin. I totally do. I do agree with that. I love puzzles. I remember when I first this I first did some stuff for Infinity. I got in a little trouble because I didn't really understand the whole thing, the world of sketch card collecting. I really didn't. I just was like, oh yeah, hey, draw some artwork. Man. So anyway, when it was on the Voltron. I think there was another set too, but I think it was the Voltron set where I did these 9-card puzzle. And one of them was okay, I guess, but it was the lions. It was like they were separating and sort of flying toward the viewer, and that was cool. But then I did another one, and it was I feel like it was, I was gonna say King Lotor. What was the king? Zarkon. It was Zarkon, but in his Robeast form, and he's kicking the crap out of the lion Voltron. And I did that piece, but it was a full-on one piece. And I learned that that's a no-no in the sketch card world, because what happened is, like, collectors, which is rightfully so, which is understand, because I collect too, is that you don't want to get like a piece, say like for this piece right here, and all of a sudden if I put like, I don't know, like of all this artwork, he was smashed over here and he's combined over here, and all you get is like his arm, Jaguar's arm. You'd be sitting there going, what is this? Especially if you pull this out of a, one of those boxes, that cost a lot of money. These when they do these pulls for the trading cards and stuff like that, I mean, people are spending a lot of money for these sets and stuff. So yeah, that was a lesson. I'm a fast learner though. I was like, okay, I get it. So then I started, really looking at other people, and then just looking, which again, that helped me. I felt like once working in sketch cards, I took a lot of that information and I put it into, like, when I had to do storyboards and stuff for, in advertising and anything else, production, because all of a sudden my mindset began to just think smaller, which is good. I mean, even to this day, I draw smaller. I think that's why I'm able to, my speed with artwork is, especially with comic book pages, is I won't say super fast, but I'm probably much more faster than somebody who's working the traditional 10 by 15 or 11 by 17. And that's because I found a way that works for me with size. Yeah, I used to draw big. I still have some old pieces of comic book artwork from back in the day where they're like standard size, and it's just like, oh, I look at them and I just cringe, because it's just the artwork. Because back then my mindset is like, I was definitely, I could see where in my artwork where
what point I was with thinking. I always loved a lot of black. I loved a lot of black in my artwork, but also shadows and things like that. But there was always this part of me, and again, another person I liked was, excuse me, I'm going all over the place, George Perez. So and the reason why I said George Perez is because I was in my mindset. I was like, I gotta fill this up. I can't. I gotta add stuff in it. That's how my mind would think. So then I would start drawing every little bitty thing in there. And when it's all big, 10 by 15, yeah, that looks good. Like if it was like a one-off piece. But if you're doing like panels and stuff like that, then once it gets compressed down to like a comic book, it would just look like a muddy mess. Like just too much information. I would literally be giving so much information that it was just like, I know I didn't like it personally. I didn't. It was like way too much information. And so working smaller, I learned that it forced me to kind of pull back. And and that's what I've been doing to this day. I don't get as crazy and start adding things like I used to. I was always in even with my old school stuff, a lot of cross hatching, and I had all kind of different pens. I used the tech pens now, but I remember using like mechanical pens, quills. I think I still got some quills somewhere with the ink wells. Oh yeah. I did every single thing because again, I've always been one of those people who my curiosity. Like I'm like, well, let me just try that. Let me just see if that, how that feels. And oh man, Jaguar's amazing. Put like this glare on them. Yeah, if they did Jaguar again, like say live action, I would love to have almost like a sheen to his body. More. I'm pushing for more metallic kind of thing, so it definitely gives that more robot feel, instead of the idea of like a dude in a suit. I saw the I don't know if anybody saw the preview. It came out a while ago, but anyway, it was like Shin Ultraman, and he's all shiny, man. He looks alien. I like it, man. He looks super alien. Does not look of this world. Hope you guys are digging it. Let me take a little swig of my tea. Alrighty. Hey, just to let you guys know that also, I don't know if you got to check out the RR Parks Ultraman set, but I did some cards in there. I haven't seen them pop up yet. But yeah, that's gonna be fun to see those pop up. That's a fun set, and I actually wrapped up work on part 2. Okay. Had a little breathing room for a little bit, so I jumped on those and busted those out, and I'm very happy how they came out. So yeah, so that was good, and then also the King Kong too. That was fun. All right. Oh man. Most likely I'll do a coloring video, and that'll go immediately up on my channel on YouTube. Yeah, the channel on YouTube is interesting. It's just a place. I tell people I treat it as a place for it's like a online portfolio really. I'm definitely not I'm not trying to be a like one of those hosts or something, or have a show and stuff like that. I'm very happy being an artist. I really am. I was listening to this YouTube story about Kevin Eastman. I got to meet Kevin Eastman years ago, and when I was in art school, and nicest guy. But as you know, if you read stories about what the whole thing with Tundra and kitchen sink and all that fun stuff, it was really fascinating to hear how how things went and stuff for him. He just seemed like a person who just in the end just wanted to just draw, and once success kicked in, it just kind of ran away. And that's that thing where I think there's some people who They want all that stuff, and they want to, whatever. Me, I still want to just draw. I want to draw. I want to, I'm an artist, and I want to be. I want to keep doing the art. That's what I am, you know. Excuse me. When I'm dust to dust, I want to be known. That guy was an artist. That guy drew. He drew. Period. I'm proud of that. Keep on drawing till these hands can't draw anymore. But yeah, after I watched that YouTube thing about Kevin Eastman, it was just like, man, I felt for him. Because I think that's the thing. He wanted to draw. And he just kind of, and he also, again, he was a young dude. Like at first, they said like when the success of the Ninja Turtles came, he was like 21 years old. And the guys talking, they brought up a good point. I'm like, man, when I was 21 years old, I knew nothing. Nothing. I wouldn't know what to do with millions of dollars at 21 years old. And having so many people in your ear. Everyone's got the next idea. Everyone's got something. And he's just like, all right, cool. I was like, wow, man. I mean, clearly he did okay. I mean, he was talking about his vast art collection, which he was smart. That's me. That'd probably be my weakness. If I had a ton of money, I'd be buying up some pieces, tracking them down. I'll try to track down my Shogun Warrior pages I had to sell. I'll be searching high. I would love to own like original pages from some mangas, especially the ones with the like Get a Robo and things like that, from the more super robot stuff. Oh yeah, I'd be on the search for those, man. See, that would be my thing. And see, to me, that's an investment. I think that's how my mind thinks. I think any true collector understands that it's an investment, but then you also enjoy what you're collecting. You have to enjoy it. Right? I think it's getting kind of crazy, man, with the collector's market with figures, man. Whew. Man, that HasLab stuff. Whew. It looks cool as anything. But man, some of the stuff like HasLab like they've been doing, but man, the price on those figures, man. I'm like, I'm literally living vicariously through some of these hardcore collectors, man. I have to, because I'm just like, dude, I'm trying to make money. I'm not trying to just hand money over. I'm past that stage. I like having the lights on. I like heat. Yeah. Food. It's just crazy. I look at some of these figures, man, and I'm like, man, like I still got a ton of my figures, but I chilled out. I can't do it. So I live vicariously through others. I look at what they got and I go, oh, okay, that's cool. I have to. And man, bless them for sure. A huge shout out to those collectors out there that are showcasing their stuff, their wares, their collections. Thank you for you're definitely helping out many of us who unfortunately can't afford that stuff. I saw the HasLab Sentinel, and hey Nolan, what's up, man? You recognize them hands? That's what he says. Recognize them hands. When I look at Jet Jaguar, I always see Jet Jaguar. I can't learn to speak. I always see Jet Jaguar as being dark. Like if I was to illustrate Jet Jaguar, he would just be like this dark, but like the way his face is, because you could tell it was influenced by Mechagodzilla. I think Mechagodzilla came. Did Mechagodzilla come first? Yeah, I know the Godzilla fans and people out there that hardcore Godzilla, they would know. I feel like Mechagodzilla came first before Jet Jaguar. And so to me, that image, that face is just like, oof, it is just straight out evil. And so if I was to do Jet Jaguar, he would be brutal. I would draw him. We are doing good. Like I said, yeah, we're doing good. Staying very busy, Nolan. Thanks for asking, man. Staying very, very busy. I try to keep people updated on what's going on. The art is flowing. And I'm happy, and like I said, I'm very happy to see other artists out there sharing. I think it's important. I think it's very important that artists get out there and they share their work. Like my man Nolan right here. I checked out some of Nolan's stuff on Instagram and stuff, and it's really good. I think it's important for artists to put their work out there. I mean, what's the whole point as an artist? I mean, come on. You know, do you just want your work to just hang on your wall and you the only one staring at it, and family members or whatever? No, show it. You never know. There's a lot of people have various tastes out there, and that's what makes it very fun and special, in my opinion. There's some people out there that like a certain style, and that's cool. And there's other people that like another different style. Or there's other people that like all the different stuff, you know. But you'll never know unless you put it out there. So it's very important. Oh man, let's see. Hope you guys are enjoying this. You know, I'm actually having a ball. You know, just doing this. Yeah, so anyway, what I was saying about Jaguar, yeah, I would, yeah. Is that my violent tendencies? I will tell you one thing, in Codgers and Cowboys, see, my level of violence, the violence that I show is that I'm not a big gore guy. I'm not into like massive gore. But what I am is, you know, I grew up on two-fisted kind of scrap, like you scrap, like character scrap it out. That's my level. So Marvel, you know, 70s, 80s, that kind of stuff. Especially you see like John Byrne. I use in John Byrne, but there's so many other people too. I mean, George Perez and whatever, and other people. But anyway, when John Byrne would show somebody, say like the Hulk punches a boulder, and he just demolishes that. Yeah, Nolan, this is the classic Jet Jaguar, and he's fighting against the new one, the new Jet Jaguar. So like when John Byrne is fighting, when he's drawing someone like the Hulk punching a boulder, you know, he would show it like it's shredded, and then as a kid, I'm watching that going, my God, he just punched that boulder and he just demolished it, and there would be so much power and energy in it, and that's what I love. Or like when someone get punched, like I just again, I'm reading Alpha Flight. I know I can't stop talking about it. I'm so excited. I got the volumes. There's a scene where just something little, and I sit there and I think, I go, would anyone draw that today? I would, but there's a scene where when they go to New York. This is the classic. I think it's issue 12. That's the one when James Madsen, that's his name, Matt Hudson, when he dies. Like they go to New York and they go against this dude who I guess this guy felt like he was screwed over by James and whatever, and the suit and whatever. So they go to New York, this guy set it up, and there's a scene where they're going up against Omega Flight. And Sasquatch, I forgot who throws him, but Sasquatch is thrown against a wall inside this room, this area, like a battle room. And John Byrne shows him like Sasquatch he's thrown, but then when he hits the wall, the wall, he draws the paneling on the wall being bent out of shape, and you can see the circuitry underneath. And I'm sitting there going, that's what I want to draw. That's what I want to have. So in when you look at Kajus and Cowboys, it feels almost like a movie. You look at a movie and it's like you see the little bitty things, the little details. Like, you know, if somebody gets hit down or something, that, you know, it's not just a static piece, a static shot, and then someone's posing. Me personally, I'm not into doing posing art. I love movement. I love a character. Like he showed one character, who was it? What was it? There was another one where Puck got punched by the Submariner, and he showed Puck kind of like on the ground, like get hit, and then he's like kind of dazed, and he just showed the aftermath of that, like him just being dazed and whatever. It wasn't like he got punched and was like, oh, here I'm gonna pose and everything. No, he was like, no. He got punched by the Submariner, and even at the and the Submariner was holding his punch back, and so not to kill him, but it was enough to sort of daze him. And it was little things like that I'm like, okay, that's what I grew up on, and that's what I want to draw. I'm gonna draw that, and I think that there's people out there that enjoy would like to see that. You know, like somebody who, I remember once getting a talk with I feel like it was an animation director. I think his name was Rich when I worked at All of Joy Animation, and Rich was really great. He was really insightful. He I remember he told me, he said, Frank, because I think I was working on the I don't know if I never made it to it, but Universal theme park, the Marvel ride. Well, anyway, it was that year when before the ride was coming out, maybe before the year. But anyway, a bunch of us, like, we had to sign a NDA or whatever, and all Jar was doing the animation. So I guess when you get on the ride, it's animated short and whatever. So anyway, they were doing the work. So they called me in to do some concept work for various things like Zeppelins and the Hulk, and they wanted to see how I drew the Hulk and whatever. And I remember he schooled me a little bit because he was feeling that the way I was approaching the Hulk was from what I saw in comic books, and it was very stiff. One of the things I would say about animation that I learned was that a sense of fluidity. Like I remember he would do stuff like take an image, like say like a pear, and he'd be like, all right, draw a character, that kind of thing he would do, and it really helped me because it helped break me out of that whole thing where you got to sit there and you're like, all the muscles, and I gotta make, and my work was very stiff. Let me just say that I was approaching it from a very stiff kind of frame of thinking, and he was trying to loosen it up. But I remember one of the words that he said was very profound, where he said, Frank, he said, ask yourself this question. He said, when you do, and this was on a different thing. Sorry about that. Just hit the camera. He said, Frank, because I was doing storyboards too here. He said, Frank, he said, when you're thinking about doing these shots, he said, don't limit the camera. Have this imaginary camera in your head, and this imaginary camera has no limits. This imaginary camera travels all over the place. Up, down, backwards, sides. You can pull it in, worm view. You can pull out, whatever, bird's eye view. It has no limits because it's inside your mind. And he said, so think of that. And he said, and then ask yourself, after you've drawn the image, whatever it is, sequentially, or storyboards or whatever, sequentially. He said, ask yourself, would this be something that you would watch on the screen? And I don't know, I found that very profound, and I think that's what I do every time I work on something that's sequential, like comics or even storyboards and stuff. I ask myself, is this something that I would watch? Like, truthfully though, you have to be truthful. You can't just be like, oh, and just accepting. You really got to be honest with yourself, because then you say, okay, I would watch it. Now, also be mindful of the fact that other people are going to be watching that, and that they have to be able to have that information, to be able to get the information, and it shouldn't be something where they have to struggle with getting in. You want to make it so that people can get stuff pretty easy. And it's true. Advertising taught me that. You shouldn't make it something that, especially because you're dealing with consumers, and consumers, most cases, they don't want stuff to be so hard that it's like, oh man, I just want to buy it. I don't want to, whatever. I want to be able to get the information as quick and easy as possible. So yeah, I learned a lot from that. It was very profound. Even to this day, I still think about that. So the pages I just wrapped up for issue 2. I can tell you right now that Matthew is he's definitely pushing. He's definitely pushing me, which is great. Me and Matthew have a sort of, we talked about it too. The way we're handling the comic, which works really good with me, a person like me, is that it's almost like in the same framework like how Stan Lee and Jack Kirby handle stuff, where it's kind of like Matthew will write the script, and then I get it, and then I'll come back with thumbnails, and then of course I'll add some extra stuff or whatever I feel that the story needs additionally. He may say, Frank, he may write 4 panels, and I may see 8. And then usually after I've done my thumbnails and stuff, I do a pretty detailed breakdown of what my thoughts are on everything. And it's in it, and then if he has some ideas or whatever, then we can make edits and stuff easy enough, easy peasy. The good thing about technology, because I don't hop on technology, even though I am a traditional artist, And I'm still grateful by the fact of what technology has done. Because I mean, man, I can tell you right now, I remember the days of, even when I was doing in advertising where we had to do pay stubs. I don't even know if kids today even remember that, man. Some people might still remember pay stubs, man. You had to run, you had to keep, you had to, had to pay something up, resize it, paste it up, put it on the copier or whatever. Oh man, time. It's so time consuming. And then a beautiful software like Photoshop comes out and it's just like, boom, you can just take something and you could tweak it up in like seconds, really, or minutes, depending on how fast you are. But, it just takes, it's all about time. Let's see, Jaguar. Yeah, this was a piece that been sitting around for a little bit. I got a bunch of these blank sketch cards floating around. You know, yeah, nice and metallic. Okay, is that the end of the music? Oh, let's see. Oh, nope. There's a little pause in the music. Hey, everybody. Old school pay stuffs. Yeah, Kevin. You remember that stuff, right, man? Ooh, time consuming. Well, that's the thing about it. See, I was schooled in the sense of time. Like time equaled money. So it was really about speed. You weren't supposed to be laboring over it. Comic books are in the same kind of fashion, just like publishing. I mean, you're gonna have a deadline. That's why I always ask people. I go, you gotta respect deadlines, man. As soon as you hear somebody not talking about deadlines, you should start worrying. Deadlines are very important. They help keep everything. They help keep the production going. And not going, but it helps the production run smoother, in my opinion. People need to understand like what is the time frame that we're talking about getting something done. And if you don't have that laid out, then you may have some problems. You know, like you have to factor in like the time from, how long is it gonna take, just in case if somebody gets sick, you gotta factor that in. Factor in like something's gonna be late. What about editing time? I always factor in editing time. There's not a point where I don't look at something and go, what about the editing? I always think of editing. I always feel like there's gonna be some editing. I don't know if that's my paranoia, but I'm always expecting it. I go, yep, there's gonna be an edit coming. I gotta prep myself for it. It's coming. It's coming. So let's see, blocks it. And as always, I always tell my Kaiju giant robot fans, I said it earlier, try to put a small helicopter or some kind of small ship, jet plane or something into your pictures. It just helps with size comparison. It's something that if you watch the old show era Godzilla stuff, you saw that a lot. Tanks or whatever, just to help give size comparison. Sometimes I'll see people and they'll be like, yeah, I'll see their work, and it's like, and I can't tell how big their creature is because sometimes there's no background. You know. So it's important. You get comfortable in drawing, environments. That's why I say that advertising helped me. Advertising helped me to get to become comfortable in drawing stuff that I didn't want to draw. There's a lot of stuff I didn't want to draw, and it wasn't the most exciting stuff. There was some fun stuff. I mean, I could talk about the time when I got the call from this agency, big agency actually, and they called me in, and they were like, "Hey, we got something," and I was like, "Okay, what you got?" And they were like, "Well, Frank, we're gonna be doing some Transformers stuff," and it was for the first Transformer movie. Oh man, I was so excited. I remember they had this big binder that I couldn't take with me, but it was on the site, and it had all the original, like I got to see all the figures and stuff, everything, and yeah, that was fun. That was really fun. Well, I think I went a little too big with these wings. That's okay. That's the thing. That's another thing about sketch cards. They're unforgiving. You know, I hate to do too much whiteout, like for mistakes. So I'm in that frame of mind, just trying to make it work. You know, as best you can. You know, don't beat yourself up about it. But anyway, but yeah, that was a fun one. That was a fun gig. Did some superhero stuff, superhero related stuff for some big companies. That was fun. I actually did a. I remember. I don't know if I can find it anywhere, but because I would always get people asking me if I could do murals, which is so weird. I think that sometimes people hear artists, they think the artist can do every single thing. Like a muralist is a totally different kind of form of art, in my opinion. It's a very different kind of form of art. Um, and there's a lot of people who specialize in that, you know, just drawing these big things on walls and stuff. So, you know, I did this gig where I said, okay, I said, look, I can't paint on walls. I suck actually painting on walls, but I said, hey, I can draw images, and if you can find a way to blow those images up and then copy them, then let's go, let's do it. And I did. It was like this, what it was. It was like this thing for. I know it had animals. There was a lot of animals in it, and I had to do this sort of mural. It was beautiful. Actually, it was pretty big. I mean, they blew them up really big, and then they were able to paint right off of the pieces. And I don't know, somewhere I had like here's the thing. It's like I had like an old external hard drive, and it got jacked up, so it's just sort of sitting in pieces. And I don't know. One day maybe, I don't know if anything could be salvageable, but a lot of my stuff is on there. I was able to salvage some things, but a lot of files that I have with things that I worked over the years is just it's on that. So one day maybe I'll go over to Geek Squad and see if they can save it. Hey, there you go. See, got my helicopters up there. I'm always about the helicopter. Get your helicopters in there. Draw little things in there. Don't be afraid. You know, I always tell them don't be frightened off. You know, to put something in there. All right. Let's see. Oh, I'm gonna take a little swig of some juice now. Oh man, I get some more water. Hey, I just want to thank everybody for coming today. Wow, a lot of you guys are hanging around. Thank you. 13 comments. Thank you. Do a couple of likes and stuff. Glad you guys are checking this out, liking it. Yeah, let me see. I'll have to look through some of my other stuff to see what other cards. Cause man, I'm just blowing through this super fast. Much faster than I thought it would. Maybe I'll pull out the other ones that I have. Cause this one is pretty much gonna be set. I'm just gonna draw some buildings in the back. It's more silos, just to kind of, you know, it's just a good technique to kind of fill these guys in and put something behind them. So it sort of pushes them forward. And you do some nice, what we call silos or silhouettes in the background, you know, the city. See, I love doing things like this. Like I love doing stuff like characters who are, you know, like, you know, two characters that are opposing one another, and it's kind of fun. For me, drawing things like this is scenarios. I just love doing them. You know, because they're like little stories to me. It's almost like you try to imagine how Frank Frazetta was, you see his pieces and stuff, and I always feel like they tell a story. Oh, by the way, let me just say, let's see what this pen is. This is a brush pen. This is a Copic Multiliner. That's been my new thing now. I've been sort of like on my Christmas list, but I've been putting more art supplies on it. I did a closet cleaning a while ago, and man, I still got figures that are like, oh, they're still in like boxes. You're sitting there, I just don't have the room to put them out. Also, not the time too. Like it takes a lot. I think that again, when I look at collectors putting their stuff, that's their thing. You know, they're not. You know, those collectors aren't, you know, publishing comics or doing comics and stuff like that. They're just collecting. So that's their joy. So, you know, that's cool. They got the time to do that. I just don't. I just don't have the time for it, you know. But it's nice to see stuff pop out. All of a sudden I go, whoa, I didn't know I got that. I have those moments. I'd be like, ah, I have that. I did pick up some, I think I showcased it. Picked up some animation stuff. Finally, got some animation cells from Big Guy and Rusty the Robot that popped up on eBay, man. That it don't, when I saw it pop up, I had to pinch myself because I've never ever seen the any of those, and I would look too. And yeah, the animation cells I would love to get would be Mighty Robots. I got some Bionic 6 ones. Got some Bionic 6. I got lucky with those a few years ago. Some Bionic 6 cell art. So yeah, I'm more of a artist like artwork kind of thing. Got a couple of cells of old school giant robot shows that I like. A couple of Vanguard Ace. It's important for me. I'm more the ones that I find more important are the ones with the actual giant robots in them that showcase them more so than the humans. This is a Copic Multiliner, really thin, it's small, just to put your little lines in there. I'm gonna come back in with my gel pen. I picked up some colorful gel pens, actually. Not gel pen, excuse me, sorry. My white gel pen. Yeah, it is. I confusing myself. And actually, where are you? Oh, Frank, where'd you put you? Where'd you put her? Where'd I put my gel pen? I am a very messy artist. I will admit that. I put stuff down and it's like, where did I put it? There is no order. It's like there's order in the chaos. I know what the order is. It's the only way I can explain it. This is crazy. Let me see. Where did I put it? Oh, I'm just gonna have to break up on a new one. New gel pen. Yeah, that's weird. Sorry, guys. Take a little bit of time. All right, I guess I'm gonna break a new one out. Well, here's the gel pens that I use. I use the old Uniball Signal, which I love. So this is a new one. So I got to break open a new one. Let me make sure I got extra. I tend to buy extras, and just because when I was doing a lot of stuff in advertising, I never wanted to be without. Sometimes I'll get calls and it'd be late in the night and stuff, and I'm like, if I run out of something, it wasn't like I can run down to Utrecht's or Michael's or not Michael's. Was it Michael's? Some art store. I don't know. But whatever, some art store or whatever at night. You just can't do that, especially because again, it comes down to time. They could be like, well, we need this in a few hours or whatever. So I'm scrambling by this point, trying to make sure that I can get stuff done. If you run out of, you don't have the tools, then oof, woe be unto you. It just turns into a massive headache. I mean, there was one time where I remember I got a gig and it was really last minute. I remember I rushed out and I had to, I'm trying to think of the place I had to go to. They sell paper stuff, stationaries and stuff like that. And I had to run out. And I cannot, the name is escaping me. I don't know if anyone remembers. Anyone remember Copy Cop? Kinkles? They still got Kinkles and Copy Cop around? I'd imagine they must have went under. Maybe they're still around. Maybe there's still people that go to Copy Cop and Kinkles. I remember those days. Oh, see, there you go. It's a nice fresh pen. And get some lines in here. Yeah. Yeah, I'll probably color this up on another video or something. You guys, I hope you're enjoying this. I don't even know where I'm at. It's only like 9:45. All right, let's see. I love these little scenarios and scenes and stuff.
All right. Let's see if these are working. Okay.
I'm gonna put this down here. Sign that, so that'll be already set. And then right down here again.
And now also notice that I signed in the back too, to make sure it's legible. People can see. But there you go. Yeah. I don't think I can add anything else. The rest will be color. So yeah, it's pretty cool. All right, give me a second. You guys can check that out. I think I may try for something else. If you guys don't mind, let me know if you're still hanging around and stuff. Let me dig through some of these the blanks that I have. Well, I got some other artwork that I was starting. Come on, Don Cougar, move your fist. Oh, Kaju's. So I got some Voltron cards. Oh, thanks for the art flow. Nice, man. I've been seeing a lot of people talking about the art flow. I like that, man. The art flow. It's just some weird word that just hit me. All right, there's some other stuff. So I got this one. So this is the other ones I got that I started. This was a prototype Mazinger. I didn't sign it, but I got that one. I got Baron Asura, Koji Kabuto. Yeah, Baron Ashura, Koji Kabuto. So I won't start on that one. Yeah, I can eat that up. He's punching somebody. And then Dr. Hell. Got Dr. Hell. Maybe I'll work on the Dr. Hell. And then finally I got this Mazinger right here. Yeah, I should do the Mazinger. What do you guys think? You think Mazinger? Cranking pretty good, so maybe I'll get some cards done. Yeah, again, I gotta say that the quality of the stock on this is really nice, man. It's almost similar to what we did. I know what we did for Kajis and Cowboy. Excuse me. This is the official Kajis and Cowboy sketch card that we did when we had the campaign earlier this year on Kickstarter. And yeah, it's like a 32-point black. I feel like, yeah, it's roughly the same. But yeah, it's a nice stock, man. It doesn't, the bleed won't go through and stuff like that. So it's pretty solid. I'm really hoping that eventually I can start doing a lot more sketches on these. People will be like, hey, hey. I like Bwin. Bwin is I'm really loving the character. Here's some cards. Here's a little example. Here's some cards that I did. Oh, I just shut off. There's a little card that it did. Comic book series will be coming in 2022. I think it's gonna be a fun character. There's Matthew's doing some really crazy stuff, and it's exciting. I'm really excited by it. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and do Mazinger. All right, let's do this. All right, I'm gonna grab a. So how many color? I have to go here. I know my brain's getting all scattered because I didn't think I thought the other one's gonna take as much longer, but let's see. Where is? Oh, here it goes. Duh. Looking for my kneaded eraser. Hold on a second. Stretch my legs. Oh, I'll tell you one thing. You got to constantly kind of stretch and stuff like that. For us artists out here, you know, stationary life. You just, you gotta take care of yourself. And I really do mean that. I mean that for artists out there. Take care of yourself. You want to be in this. You want to be in this game for a bit more. You don't want to take yourself out of it. You know what I mean? So anyway, all right. Well, I'm gonna go for Mazinger. Catching up on stuff. All right. Let's see. All right. Grab some. All right. So first, I'm gonna hit this with a little bit of kneaded eraser. I've been using kneaded erasers since since art school. So you're talking 1991, 1993, and then after that, I mean, still continuing. But yeah, I learned about these when I was in art school. So what you do, you just tap it back a little bit, and as you can see, it kind of fades out, knocks back the lead a little bit. Almost gives that nice transfer kind of thing. Transfer kind of look, just a little bit, you know? All right, put that up. All right, let's see what we got here. Boom. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm using a Multiliner, colored Multiliner, Staedtler. I'm just gonna go in here, and I'm gonna do his Rocky Punch. I know a lot of people sort of got hooked into Mazinger Z with Transor Z when they tried it. I remember seeing when I lived in Boston, it was on, was it on, I think it was Channel 38. Then they changed to UPN 38. But I'm a Boston boy, so yeah. I remember watching it there. And so I was like, oh man. Well, see, Transor Z had a different vibe than what was being shown on Force 5. Like, I felt the stuff they were showing on Force 5 was much more, it felt more updated than what the stuff they were showing with Transor Z. But Transor Z was still cool. It didn't matter to me. Like, I love the fact of Dr. Howe. Like, when I look at that stuff, it's like I look at it, we'll go Nagi in, I'm like, yeah, he was influenced. He was influenced by the Western superheroes. Koji Kabuto, Clark Kent, you know, Transor Z. I mean, excuse me, Mazinger Z, Superman. You know, Koji Kabuto climbs into the head thing. Has a, you know, this, I forgot the name. The Spader. The crown goes into the crown, and then he, you know, suddenly he's got the power of a devil. You know. Great character, by the way. Let me just say that right now. I love Mazinger. I got a couple of Mazinger. I got the Mazinger. I know I got it somewhere. I got the Mazinger where he turns into a giant fist. I remember the anime that came out. I was like, I'm getting that. But see, back then, that's when figures, man, you get a figure like that, and it was like, man, you know. I remember getting the giant Robo, which was, I remember first getting it, and it was total die-cast, and I think it was like, I think I got that thing for like maybe $30. And it blew my mind how much die-cast metal. I'm a die-cast metal junkie. You know, I love die-cast because it just makes it feel like the robot. It takes me into a tactile feel that it feels like a robot. You know, robots made of metal, so, you know, so that's how my mind works when it comes to that. It's tough for me with plastic. Sometimes when it's just plastic or whatever, I'm like, you know, but hey, you know, certain ones. I still got some that are plastic, but I'm more into the more, you know, it's gotta feel like a robot. But yeah, I can definitely see the influence of Western with Mazinger Z. And I love the fact of like those shows too, where where they would like say the name of the robot, like the Machine Beast. They'd be like Machine Beast. Let me just throw a name out. I don't know, Granda or something like that. And it was just things like that. Just it was so special to me. Like I love that stuff. When I was working on Robot God Akamatsu with James, there was some scenes in it where I don't know if people remember, like they would do these scenes. I know like in Ghetto Robo they had them, well, Starbenders, and most of them actually, and they would have it where, you know, when they're animating, and then if they wanted to do this really climatic kind of scene, it would almost turn into like this keyframe effect, still shot kind of. I don't know if you can understand what I'm saying, but it was like this. All of a sudden, you got the animation, and it would stop, and then it'd be this powerful scene. Like it would just stop. And man, I tried to capture some of that with Robot God Akamatsu. Like I did, like some of it would be pen and ink, and then if a major scene would come up like that, then I would do it totally all in pencil, you know. And that was my little nod to that. But I love that stuff. It was I felt that it was so exciting, you know. Oh, you're saying, Kevin? Yeah, I love the diecast figure. I used to have them diecast.
Oh, Micronauts were amazing. I remember having what was his name? Biotron. But it was see what was weird about me as a kid was that I feel like I had Biotron and I had the little one too that was with him, his friend. Like I had the big one. I feel his name is Biotron, and there was another one, and then I didn't know who they were really as a kid. I mean, I feel like I had them, but I didn't know because they weren't really on TV. You know, like I remember my mom ended up getting me. She took me to Mr. Big Toyland out in Waltham, and oh man, that show was heaven. That show literally was heaven for a collector. If you were into giant robots or into like, I remember they had like I remember seeing the Argo from Star Blazers, Biotron, yeah, Biotron, yeah. I remember seeing the Argo there and stuff. That Mr. Big Toyland was a mecca. And I remember going in there and it just was like wall to wall, like your eyes were just you I get chills thinking about it. It was amazing. It was incredible. And I wanted everything. I wanted everything. My mom just looked at me and was like, "Boy, you crazy." I remember seeing Combatra. I remember seeing what they call the big guys. My brain cells are dead, guys. Help me out. The big metal Shogun warriors. Because they had Combatra, and he broke them into his component pieces, but they're all diecast metal and stuff. And the names escape me. Not the poppies. The poppies are smaller, but I just remember the big box of Combatra, seeing it, and the guy was like, "It's $60," and my mom was like, that was like too much for her. She was like, "Nope." So she ended up getting me, she ended up getting me Diatarn. And what was funny was I was somewhat teed off by it because Diatarn, I hope I'm saying his name right, Diatarn 3 or something like that. He wasn't a character that was on Force 5 or Shogun Warrior. And I remember I was just like a little teed by it. But I took him. I had him. Yeah. I think I ended up years later. I ended up getting him again, another figure. I was like, "Yeah, it's a Diatarn and stuff." But this was years later after I had found out who this character was and stuff. And he was cool. He turned into a tank, and I remember he could turn into a like this weird ship. That was one of the things too I loved about the super robots back then, that they turned to these weird things, man. They were just weird. It wasn't like Robotech, in the sense of Valkyries and stuff like that. Like they look like jet planes and stuff like that, which is cool too. Don't get me wrong, but these things were like they would turn into something that could fly and be a plane, but it wasn't a plane. It would look weird, like half bird or something like that. And I love that stuff. I just felt my dream was, if I was gonna have a dream, I was like, I want to be doing. I said, whatever that job is, making these weird things, that's what I want to do. So I remember as a kid feeling that, going, "Oh man, I'm gonna do that." You know what I may do? I may have him sort of warming up his heat fire. Yeah, I want to do that. So it's like kind of red. Yeah, man, Mr. Big Toyland. Oh. Micronauts are cool too. If there was one that I wanted, it was Baron Kaza with his horse. Baron Kaza was sick. That comic book series was amazing. But if people have seen my posts, the cartoon, and it's surprising I don't have any figures. The cartoon series that really, really excited me was Inhumanoids. I have no figures. Never had any figures of the Inhumanoids, which is crazy. Which I should have. Sometimes I even see. I don't know why I don't have them. I mean, the cost for them now is like insane. I'm at that place now in my career, well, my life, not career, but my life, where I don't know. I have a different feel. My view on collecting is a lot different than years ago. Like I don't collect. Like it's not an impulse thing anymore for me. I got rid of a lot of stuff too. That I would go through my stages where I would be like, "Oh man, I want to collect," and then all of a sudden I'm like, "I don't want to collect." And so I've at this stage in my life where if I'm gonna get something I really want it, it can't just be like, me having a moment, like some kind of momentary, like, oh yeah, I want to have stuff that I know that I really want to keep and cherish for a little bit. Like I'm super psyched that I did these two pieces of artwork. My man Cole and my man Wilfred. And Wilfred's an amazing builder, figure builder. I'm gonna throw a shout out to Wilfred. Wilfred makes wooden figures, wooden like Shogun Warrior figures, man. And he did he did not Voltron, Voltus. He did Voltus 5, and he's done a ton of others. I think he's currently doing looks like Die Rugger. It's huge, but out of wood. And so when the chance came, I was nervous too. I was like, hey man, would you be interested in doing like an art swap, for and I said, I'll do a piece for you. And I said, I'll do 11 by 17 big piece for you and for a swap for, if you could do, I'd like to get a wooden Dangar Ace. Dangar Ace is my favorite, like, Shogun Warrior and robot from that time. I love Dangar Ace. And I remember once telling somebody, it was like, this guy asked me, so why do you like that? And I said, because I felt Dangar Ace looked like me. As a kid, he had lips. And he looked very Egyptian. I don't know. That's just the way I looked. I felt that he just looked very Egyptian. And so I was, I don't know. I loved that about him. That was one thing. And then I just loved how the character was. I love the simplicity of Vanguard Ace. Like when he transformed, it wasn't complicated. I love the fact that the story where you had these pilots and they had to learn how to fight him and that to fly him. I love the fact how the story was just like, it was a very simple kind of story where, you had pilots and you had this evil madman there's this huge space race trying to get to a planet for its riches and elements and stuff like that. It was a very simplistic story, which I like. I tend to like stories that you can just sort of grasp really quickly. Like you can look at it and sort of grasp. You'd be like, okay, yeah, I get that. Everything, boom, 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 bad guy. That's the kind of stuff I like. Now, the extra little nuances and stuff, if you're adding to enhance the story, that's cool. But it has to come from the writing then. That's when the writing gets intriguing, So, yeah. So, but Dangar Ace was so cool because it was like they built Dangar Ace to fight against it. It wasn't like they already had him. Like, I like Grandizer, but Grandizer was an alien robot, an alien guy who crash landed on Earth and stuff, escaping from tyranny and stuff like that. So that was a totally different story. Then you had Get a Robo, which was a little bit more it was fantastical, done with Get a Raise and stuff like that. So that was a little bit more fantastical. But I always felt that if they were going to do a sort of movie, I think Dangar Ace would be really good. I think that it'd be more realistic in a certain degree, where you got pilots and stuff like that. His transformation isn't that complicated. It's not a very complicated transformation. Yeah. That was my take on him. And so I'm hooked. I have like cells, I have figures, I have like the Dangar Ace helmet ship, yeah. Yeah, man. I tracked that one down. I got like the Star Arrow. But I still got other ones too. I like Guy King. I like the original Guy King. I still to this day have never finished watching the newer anime that came out. I had a hard time getting to it, I'll be honest with you. I guess the thing is that when I grew up in anime, when I first got into anime, back in the 80s, I'm going to say like, yeah, it had to be because I was in my teens. I feel like I probably was in high school. So yeah, you're talking 85, 86, something like that. I remember being part of an anime group and whatever. But a lot of anime that I saw was very adult. It was very like noir style, like the Go-Go 13, The Professional, Crying Freeman, Demon City, Shinjuku, hey, even The Wandering Kid. I don't know if anybody out there knows that movie. That is a trippy movie. It's definitely not for kids, but it's a trippy movie. But the level of animation, North Star, Fist of North Star, the level of animation was, heavy black lines and stuff like that. The characters were very adult. Even the writing, how they handle stuff was very adult. Was it Megazone 23? So that's what I grew up with. So when I started seeing the transition where things were looking very childlike, That kind of turned me off. Yeah, I wasn't into that kind of stuff. You know, I understand that there's a fandom for it. So I'm never the person who's gonna try to throw shade on somebody for what they like and whatever, because everybody's got flavors. They got their own flavors that they dig. But for me, I just knew it just wasn't my thing. You know, I like more of like, you know, characters that look like adults. You know, and if there is a kid in it, then fine, you have a kid in it. But you know, I have a hard time looking at kids who are being given these huge life issues or whatever, you know, fighting against giant demons and whatever and things like that, and they're just kids and it's just weird. I don't know. That's just my thing. I struggle with that. I only time I felt that it kind of worked somewhat really good in a positive sense that I enjoyed and I felt that it was that was really enjoyable was in Attack of the Titans, because you had these young people and stuff like that, and they were dealing with it. And to my thought, I thought of them more as like teens on the verge of adulthood. So it wasn't like little kids; they were just like teens on the verge of adulthood, dealing with this these monstrous things happening to them. So Mazinga! Yeah, this guy's getting blasted. Pow! Sound effects. Yeah, his head's getting, yeah. See, this is the level, like when I think of violence and stuff like that, it's like, you know, this is the old school. Like, you know, this character's got a hurting on him, you know? But I don't know. I look at this and this is stuff that I grew up with, so I feel that it's acceptable for children of today. You know, that it's easy to read and whatever. I actually prefer a more noir kind of style of showing violence, where, you know, shadows and things like that. I find those to be much more compelling. All right, so I just made up. Now this machine beast is just some character, just random. I didn't choose any of his nemesis and stuff. I just making like a random character. So, and again, just ball joints. I love that stuff. Another anime that I really loved was Giant Robo, When the Earth Stood Still. Was it The Earth Stood Still? That was good. That was really good. A lot of people don't talk about the Tessogen 28. I got that set too. That was really fun. It's a great character. They did a good job with him. And then what's the other one? Big O. I thought Big O was fun. Didn't like the American I forgot who published it, but yeah, it was a big letdown with the artwork. That's another thing too, where, you know, when I finally got those and I was really expecting the artwork to be, yeah, you know, I'm very finicky with that too, because it's, again, you see something like Akira, and in my mind, I would love to see everyone draw like Akira. Yeah, I would love to see artwork somewhere close in that line. I've been reading a lot of the new Getter stuff that's come out, and then the new Ultraman, and it's really well done art. So to me, when I look at that, I go, yeah. So that's kind of something I'm looking at, you know, that I would kind of want to see. So when you see something that's not of that quality, you go, yeah, there's a little stain there. Yeah, when I saw the Big O, and I actually got some copies of them just for, you know, whatever, some giant robot book. I look at it and cringe at it. I go, oh, it's... I often wonder sometimes, like, oh man, did you hire somebody who's just not into it? Because I wonder if that's the case sometimes with many of these people who hire people to work on some of these projects. Are they just hiring people who just aren't into it? You know, like, why not just hire somebody who's into drawing robots really well? You know, to me, if somebody's really into it and they can draw robots or whatever, monsters or kaijus, then man, that just seems like it would just be really cool. Yeah, it would definitely help the project, right? Always assume that. All right, this is my... Well, I first did a puzzle card. Do a little recap. There's a recap. This was the first. I did the puzzle card of the two Jaguars meeting each other. And then this one right here is another one on the same cardstock. Funny. nice card stock. And what I've been doing is when I get, if something pops up, some these sort of custom cards have been popping up on these sets, and I like the fact that they're just like these random sets, and they have a very limited run and stuff, so that makes them even. Like, to me, I like the fact when this stuff is a low run, because then that's when it makes the collectability much more. When you start seeing stuff that has a massive print run, then it's like,
That's what hurts.
you know. All right. Okay.
All right, let's look on here. Any responses? I'm gonna look over here and see if any of you have response. I've been looking up. The last one I saw was the Biatron. Biatron. Is it Biatron or Biatron? I know I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. It's just like Magneto. Magneto.
I don't know about the rest of you, but man, I just saw the other day. Saw that new Spider-Man. Oh, commercial trailer. Oh, man, it looks amazing. That looks amazing. All right.
All right, let's do that.
Okay, let's see what we got here. Let's see what we have here. Another thing too, like when I started with sketch cards,
I knew that was one of the things where I was sort of pushing myself to see how much information I could get into these little card size, And again, it goes right back to it. Like, as a collector, I go, man, what would I want? I always think like that. My mind's like, well, Frank, what would you want to see if somebody was doing a sketch card for you? And I'd be like, well, I would just see a scene, That's what that inner voice in my head says. It goes, yeah, I want to see a scene, and I'm gonna see if there's like somewhat of a story going on, so that when I pick it up, I go, what's the story? What's going on here? What's happening here? Who's these characters? What they talking about? All right. I just want to put a little notice out there that you could view a lot of my videos and stuff on my YouTube channel if you don't got nothing going on and stuff like that, and you want to listen to the rants of me ranting a little bit. I'm not ranting too much, but just talking a little bit. And then music. There's music to the videos and stuff that I add on there. Thank you, YouTube royalty-free music. Thank you. So yeah, so if you're ever interested in checking those out, feel free. Again, my channel is all about just, it's more of a portfolio for people to look at. If you go on and if it helps you and it inspires you, then that's great. And then I'm like, yeah, awesome. I when I think about the times when I first was starting out and I didn't see too many people doing something that I really enjoyed, I was like, man, it struggled. It was like something where I was like, man, you're left with this feeling going, is there anybody out there that's doing what I'm doing? Is everybody doing superheroes and stuff like that? And let me not get it wrong. I love drawing superheroes. When I was doing card stuff for Upper Deck, and also Rittenhouse, but for Upper Deck, I had a blast, man. I'm just gonna say that right now. I remember when I actually posted, was it this week or last week? I think I posted stuff that I did for Upper Deck. No, sorry, Rittenhouse. Excuse me, the Rittenhouse Marvel stuff. But the Upper Deck stuff. Oh man, I remember telling them, I was like, well, I said, I want to do obscure Marvel stuff. I told them that. And they were like, all right, cool, good. And I ended up breaking. That gave me a reason to break open my my Marvel Universe handbook, the official handbook of Marvel Universe. I got a couple of those. I was so excited. I was like, yeah, because I knew, I was like, we're probably gonna see a lot of the newer kind of stuff coming out during that time of the, because I think I feel like I was doing a lot of the Upper Deck stuff maybe 2010, 2011. Could be 22. I don't know, but I want to say it's roughly around that time. When we say that, roughly around that time, and so I was like, I know a lot of people with Deadpool, that kind of. I get it. It's that generation. That grew up on it. I get it. But for me, I was like, yeah, but what about these really obscure characters, man? That I'm sure that there's people out there that might remember, like I do. So I was drawing guys like the Blue Diamond. Oh man, who's some other guys? I'm trying to think of some other obscure people. It's this guy. I think he's from Spain. The Eagle Aguera. I think I'm saying the name wrong, but I see his image in my head. But it was Blue Diamond. It was, I mean, guys like that. Like he was the Eagle. I think that was his name. I think that's what it meant, the Eagle. Um, what? I can't recall if I ever did Frogman, who I love. I love. Oh my God, I love Frogman. I can't recall if I ever drew Frogman. That'd be a crazy one because I actually love Frogman. He's a great character. I love weird characters like that, man. Like I always thought about that. Like people be like, well, if you had a chance to work, like if Marvel wanted you to work on something, I would immediately be like, well, first off, I mean, come on, come on. It would be like Red Ronin. It would be Red Ronin, and it would be like almost like a universe where it's almost like super robots. That's what the only thing that exists is super robots, and being able to tweak a lot of the Marvel characters to fit that kind of aesthetic. So it'd be Red Ronin. Another one would be Frogman. I love Frogman. I always felt like I said if you can make Spider-Man cool, a guy who has the powers of a spider, Frogman can be really cool. If you tweak them up, and you approached it from a standpoint not silly, but you just said, okay, this guy's gonna be for real. Then that would be something where I'd be like, yeah, dude, I would have fun with that. Because I would do crazy stuff. I would research different things. Because there's a lot of cool stuff that when you talk about frogs, see, for me, I would think of it that he would call himself Frogman, but his suit would be based on the abilities of various species of frogs and toads. See? So, and then you just enhance it up, like the skin of a toad, or poison, and things like that. It's agility, things like that. I would make it like he's no joke. He's not goofy. He wouldn't be a goofy kind of character. I'm trying to think of some other characters. I'm trying to remember the characters that I did. I mean, I was able to save those. I think I have those on file. A lot of cards. Oh, a lot of puzzles. They were doing. I don't know if they're still doing the booklets, but I remember. I feel like Upper Deck was doing tons of those. That sort of booklets thing where it would be like 2 booklets, and then they did. I think the most was like 5. I feel like there was like 5. The 5 booklet thing that they did for sketch cards, and it was crazy. Yeah, those are fun. I was putting all kind of scenes and everything in there. But I tried to put a lot of people, like, Well, that was a Toad, Kevin. That was a Toad he's from the X-Men. Yeah, Frogman was a totally different character. He was like this guy who was down on his luck or whatever, and I don't know if his origin, but I think he designed the suit himself. It was a frog. He wore like a Frogman suit, and he could jump. He could jump around and sort of like, the way he would kind of fight or whatever it was almost like they treated him very like I want to say almost like Mr. Magoo kind of, or like Inspector Gadget, where like Gadget did kind of fight a little bit, but it's almost like accidental fighting, Like if you're thinking like martial arts, I would think of more like drunken kung fu, where it's like he's falling all over the place, so he'll rebound and he'll bounce off somebody, and it's like, oops, sorry about that, and that person would end up hitting somebody else. So they treated him very jokish, kind of. He wasn't treated seriously. But yeah, the character you're talking about is the Toad, and he's a mutant. He's from the he's one of the original. See, this is where my geekness comes out. My geekness only comes out when people, or if I'm like say if I'm watching like an MCU movie or a DC movie or whatever, or if somebody's talking or something, just like you just brought up a question like that, then all of a sudden my brain cells start flaring up, and I'm having these glimpses of memories of things that it's like I would never even think of. But yeah, he was like, yeah, the Toad was part of the original Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. Yeah, that's how my brain works these days. It's like, oh, okay. I'm always amazed when people can retain knowledge of certain things, and they know it. Like they'll know stuff. Like it's crazy when you hear somebody and they'll know an issue of a comic book, like the actual issue. Like I can remember. For me, it's visual. So I'd be like, oh yeah, I remember that scene that happened in that book and stuff like that. And this person would come on and be like, yeah, that was issue such and such, and it's like, like okay, buddy. Yeah, I'm not that good with that. I've always been good with faces. It always kills me because people remember who I am. They don't know my name, and I'll look at them and be like blank stare. Like my famous word, and I'll admit that. I'll always be like, "Hey, Chief." That's when you know I don't remember you. And I'm like, "Please, just say your name, please, please." I actually said they should have that technology where I wouldn't say it gives you all the information about a person, but we should have name tags. Like a tag will pop up and it'd be like, "My name is George." You're like, "Hey, George, what's up, man? What's happening?" It's just like it would make things easier. So you don't have this weird look on your face and you're just like, I don't remember this cat's name. Oh man. I don't remember you, dude. Sorry. Sorry. But yeah, he would be a cool character. Let's see, some more characters. All right, I'm gonna jump on. I'll say DC. They kind of brought him back. I saw some images. I didn't see the full-on books or read them, but Captain Carrot and Amazing Zoo Crew, they were really cool. Yeah, they were really obscure characters. They were fun. So I guess they brought them back a little bit. Drew them kind of serious too. Drew them like real animals. So that was kind of interesting. All right, so let's get the fire over here. All right. All right. Hope everyone's enjoying this. Cranking, man, cranking. I don't know if any fans out there of Massey. This is a more fluorescent kind of pen, but that's okay. Human meta tags, yeah, human meta tags. Yeah, I've been trying to catch up on certain books, but I'm kind of scattered right now. I don't collect comic books like I used to, where I'd be like committed. Like if I was like again, I'll do for example, excuse me, the New Mutants when Bob McCloud was working. I was really like religious in getting that. I was like, oh my god, I gotta get that. No, to these days are more. Something to pop up and I'll be like, I've been getting a lot of older issues of things. I did end up getting, I just got the other day, the collected volume of Ultraman, the Trial of Ultraman, that Marvel, the second run of those books and stuff. So I got to read that. But I mean, my stuff's been kind of scattered. I've done a couple of crowdfunding books to read and stuff. But yeah, man, it's interesting how comic books are now these days. There's definitely a lot of books, a lot of people out there creating stuff, so that's a good thing. I always think that it is important. It's so important to lay down some kind of background. You need to have an environment. You just do. I think it's important. You don't want to have a character just kind of floating. We call it static art, man. That's what I did a lot of that when I was in advertising, static artwork, which makes sense though. I mean, the thing about advertising is that advertising artwork was never meant to be something that's something that you hang up on a wall and that kind of thing and admire. It's more of a, like, how fast can you do it? You just gotta look nice, mind you. So when I say speed, it's like speed and quality. But you still, you just had doing jumping on and using static artwork. Sometimes it's really for products. I remember I did a lot of stuff for like GM. Oh, trucks. And I'm not a huge like somebody who's like really into guns, cars and stuff like that. I just never. I grew up in Boston and jumped on the T. So I never had that kind of thing. I drive now, but I never had that kind of like, I gotta get a car, man, a car that, you know. But with that said, you know, I learned, and you know, I had to draw. I worked on a lot of different ads for vehicles and did some food ones. Was it Wendy's? I remember drawing a burger. I remember that. I remember working on that, and it was like, gotta make it succulent. Using markers too. I think it was using. Love working with markers. I'm glad that Photoshop exists and they have that option, but something about, you know, using markers and really getting in there with dyes and stuff like that. Oh, it's just magical. Because what happens is you come up with. What I find is that it's those happy little accidents. You know, you sometimes you'll end up creating like a look or something, and it's like it's totally not meant to be. It's not perfect, and that's what makes it special. And I'm drawing something like this big guy right here in the the top over here. It's in the back, so the watching is like, okay, because that's always like you think about Mazinger Z. It's always like a bigger threat just waiting in the horizon, saying, "Come on, all right." I think that's another thing I loved about characters like this, because again, they're scrapping, and they're just like Mazinger Z would get jacked up. Like that's I always love that. I love the fact that these characters, because then I felt it was compelling. You know, that to me is like what is a hero? A hero is somebody who's going up against insurmountable odds, and they're just, you know, they're giving everything they got. And somehow they pull through. And they win. They win the battle. And so, you know, when I look at stuff today, you know, and I see characters who are able to shoot beams that wipe out galaxies and stuff, I'm like, I don't know if I'd have fun drawing stuff like that. That wouldn't entice me to want to draw. You know, I like stuff where it's there's a journey. The journey in a trial that you know. I don't want it to be easy. I want it to be something where you see characters struggling and to get to where they need to get to. So then you can learn. You go, wow, because of this, I had to go through all this hardship. Now, you know, now we can, you know, once we've defeated this evil, whatever it is, then, you know, boom, now we can all try to relax and, you know, and have some shawarma. Shawarma. What was that from? Avengers? First Avengers movie, shawarma. And this is the point where I started muttering nonsense stuff. All right. Ugh, man, cranking. Some little pieces in there and stuff. It's like the ground and rubble and stuff, and it just throw some color down on that just to kind of bring that all together. Yeah. All right. Okay, boom. Wow, look at that. Hey, how's that looking, everybody? It's looking good? Put little clouds up in there and stuff, and some buildings in the back. And a lot of that I can just sort of add color and stuff in there. I remember my teacher once told me, said, Frank, sometimes you just gotta bless it. You gotta just let it go and bless it. Don't overwork it. You know, you overwork it, and all of a sudden you may screw everything up. But anyway, there you go. Card 3. What time is it now? 10:31, huh? All right, let me see. Maybe one more. How's everybody feel? One more? Get like 4 cards. Whew. All right, so I'm gonna put this aside. I'm gonna do Dr. Hell because he's amazing. Dr. Hell's amazing. He's amazing. All right, Dr. Hell. He's like this old dude who's like built. All right, I'm gonna actually get my circle template. Got a small one right here. Some circle templates over here. It's a pretty wild one right here, huh? I haven't used this yet. I got this. See, again, I get all kind of obscure stuff because you never know if you need it. And this would be for, I think it's for
it's for just various like little boxes. You know, word balloons and things like that. I feel like that's why I got it. But I was like, you never know. Put it in my arsenal. Never know if I'll need it. Like my thinking is like better to have it than not have it. All right, so I need a bigger. Let's get a more bigger one. Oh man. Okay. All right, guys, give me a second. Looking great. Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, actually, I'll leave these out for everyone to check out while I gotta look for my circle template for a second. I can see the big one, but nope. Yeah, I need a bigger one. Let me see how big that's planet. Planet's a pretty good size. Maybe this might fit. This might fit it. Although this is my really big template. Oh, thanks, Kevin. Kevin's still hanging in there. Thank you, bro. He's hanging in there. He's like, Frank, I got you. I got your back. Yo. All right. All right, so this might be a little too big, but yeah, I can't find my smaller one. It's probably buried underneath some stuff, and I don't feel like digging it up. I don't feel like digging that up. So what I'm gonna do, right, is he's sort of holding the earth in his hand. Yep. And I always love these over the top, like kind of characters. You know, they're just fun. They're really fun, and that's how like Dr. Hell, like they're just laughing maniacally. Like I noticed some of the stuff that we're gonna be doing with Kajus and Cowboys. I'm going for the classic stuff. Oh yeah, you gotta have these tools, man. You gotta have them. You gotta have these things. These things never get old. I still have my T square. Still, it's hanging up. It's my T square from art school. Still hanging up. I haven't used it in years, but still, it's just something about it. It's just memory. All right, there you go. It's just great to have, you know. Let me see. All right. Okay. I think the rest I'll just do by hand. Okay. All right, I think I'm ready. Let's do this. All right, Dr. Hell. And then he'll be the last one. I think he's going to be the last one for today. Once again, thank you for watching this, hanging out. Thank you, Kevin. Keeping the conversation going. I appreciate that. It's always so weird, like, you know, doing these and stuff, because I've seen artists who are like, especially the ones on YouTube, where they're just conversing with people and then drawing. I'm like, how do you do that, man? Because there's a level with concentration. Like, you know, I'm like, man, I gotta concentrate on this. I gotta think about this. You know. But the cool thing about this, the way I have it, is like I have my computer on my laptop on the right hand side, so then I can see some. You know, sometimes, you know, the only crappy part is I got my screen set, so the power usage is, you know, not too high, so I'm not killing my battery, so I can look over and occasionally see if anybody's communicating. And then also I'm videotaping right now using my iPhone. So like I said, technology is crazy that you know, got to live through the change of technology that I am videotaping and transmitting from a phone. It's mind-boggling. I mean, my mindset is that I still remember running down to the payphone to get a call, you know. I remember having a beeper. How crazy is that, huh? A beeper. And that was like high tech. All right. Dr. Hell. Really cool character. Love this guy. I love characters like this. I really do. I love over the top kind of like villains. They're just fun. They're just fun. You know, I remember, like, again, I looked at some of the old even Jack Kirby stuff, but John Byrne stuff where he would do like Doctor Doom, man, and Doctor Doom was just so over the top. Oh, nice, man. Good man. But yeah, Doctor Doom would he would do these over top images of Doctor Doom and just like, oh, they were so cool. All right, wait a sec. What did I do here? How did I do this? I take a moment to think about this. Because I feel like he's always had a cape, and I think I had his. Okay, so I probably had his cape running behind his body. Yeah, because when I did this, I don't have right now. I don't have the reference out for this. So I'm sort of working off of what I'm thinking. What I, that how I laid it out. So hopefully it's working, but I'll make it work. Doctor Hell. What a cool character. Yeah, so anyway, I know I keep going in and out. John Byrne, when he would draw say like Doctor Doom, and he's over like holding the planet Earth and stuff in his hand and crumbling it. Actually, I think he did another one. And again, I go right back to Alpha Flight. I think there's one where he showed this dude called the Master of the World, and he's crumbling the Earth. Oh, I love that's fun stuff to me. That's fun. That's over the top. Little dabs of that. Okay. And that was one of the things too. Like I always remember, like I'm such a stickler where I'm always when I was drawing stuff, I was like I had to catch myself because I was like I don't want to be trying to emulate manga or anyone. I want to have my own defined style. So when people say, they go, yeah, that's a Frankie B, instead of Frankie B trying to be like Gonage or John Byrne or trying to be whatever. I want to feel where people can look at it and say, well, yeah, this person clearly was influenced by the stuff that he saw, but this is his style. So that's always been a stickler for me. And I always feel like I'm still perfecting what I'm doing. I'm still not overly comfortable. There's still, because it's always about experimentation, pushing yourself, seeing what's the next thing. I'm seeing various artists using old school techniques of splatter effect with the toothbrush, bringing that back. Rob Geronimo's he's doing a fantastic job with Blood Realm, and he's like the splatter king, man, and his effects are so nice. These are old school skills of inking and stuff like that's slowly making its way back. That is so, it's just great. It's just great to see. What about when people did ink wash? That's another one. See a lot of that. Love that. I just do ink wash. When I was in art school, for me, I tried to do oils. I didn't like oils. I didn't have the patience for oils, really. But I loved watercoloring. But my watercoloring, I always thought my watercoloring was very heavy-handed. I approached it with probably closer to how Alex Ross. Not saying I paint like Alex Ross, but the level of how Alex Ross paints, where it's not that washy, watercolory kind of, ethereal. I always say it's almost like an ethereal kind of approach to painting with watercolor, where it's just like, there's some vague imagery and stuff. Or somebody say if they have hard lines like ink, even pencil, hard ink, and then they'll hit some watercolor in it, and it just has a very loose, and I call it again ethereal kind of feel to it. Whereas with Alex Ross, his stuff has it has a more full feeling to it, like full on painted kind of feel. That's what I would always be pushing for, like what he was doing. That kind of style and effect, I wonder one day if we'll ever see a live action Mazinger Z. I can only dream. That'd be another one too. That would be amazing. I know that years ago they tried to. We saw that commercial for the proposed Guy King film, which unfortunately didn't get the money tobacco. That's unfortunate. That's really unfortunate. Oh man. So like they're doing some nice good tests. I would love to see a giant robot movie. I think that what they did with the Pacific Rim, I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. I saw what they were trying to do with it and stuff, and so I appreciate that they were trying to capture a lot of it. Like I felt like the second one felt like an old school like giant robot kind of cartoon that I was watching. That was my first film. When I watched it, I was like, oh my god, this feels like like I'm watching for something from Force 5. But instead it has the Jaegers. My feeling though is that to be a true super robot, almost has an almost like fantastical look of like how a superhero is. That's my opinion of a super robot. A super robot is something. Oh yeah, a super robot is something that again, it's just like a human being, and they have specialized weaponry. Because I mean, I've gone into talks with people and they go mecha and then they go super robots, and I go no, super robots are different than mecha. Mecha to me is a more I always consider it more militaristic kind of approach to robots. They most times they'll have a certain look to them that doesn't I consider mecha more in the line of when they're carrying guns, like a human being. They are carrying guns like human being. Their designs aren't as they're humanoid, but they don't have a very human I feel like a good example probably would be like I look at how the Bayformers were. I think that was one of the big appeals about the Bayformers, or not appeal, the anger from the fandom was that they lacked what the Transformers animated looked like. In the sense that the Transformers animated show, if you watch the original show, the G1, many of the Autobots had abilities. They had powers, man, and they could pull things up. Like Ironhide's hand would go in and he was able to shoot like a chemical blast and stuff like that. That would be almost in the lines of how again like a Mazinger Z or a Combatro or a Voltron, or like they have specialized weaponry. They're almost an extension of their human pilots. That's what a super robot is to me. Many times it's with super robot. A lot of stuff that they're dealing with is very fantastical. It's like a superhero story. Clandestine organization that knows about some threat that's going to affect the Earth, and only they have the way to stop it with their, whatever, either vehicles or super whatever their robot defense thing or their secret clandestine base. I mean, that's what it is. So I would love to see a more super robot film. I know that they're working on a supposed Voltus V film, so that could be kind of cool. And of course, I've worked in production, in film production. I know that there's going to be changes where they use technology of today to kind of make things work and whatever. I'm all for that. But I still think that you can still maintain a lot of the aesthetics of what made it so special too. And I think that's a cop out when they can't do that. I think you can find your way to find a blending of that. All right. All right, you closing up on me? There you go. Mazinga! Oh, I couldn't even imagine. It would be incredible. Like I would want them to establish its own world. It's almost like how the MCU has their world. Like that's the MCU universe. So that characters like Iron Man and them sort of coexist in, they exist in that universe. It's not our universe. Like this universe that we have here is their universe. And that's what I think you would have to do with Mazinga Z. You'd have to establish right off the hand, like this is their Japan, this is their world. And in this world, this guy, Dr. Hell, and other forces or whatever exist. Yeah, that would be nice. That would be really, really nice. I don't understand why it hasn't happened, because you'd imagine that there's a lot of fans from Mazinger Z. I'm surprised that Grandizer hasn't been made.
The amount of fans that love Grandizer, oh.
All right. Boom, boom, boom. Seems like a lot of people dig these kind of draw streams and stuff, and people are drawing, artists drawing this stuff. That's kind of cool. I guess that's a good way of how technology has really helped us in the sense of allowing guys like myself to be able to reach out to people who can view my work and stuff, and hear me talk and
Rant while I'm
doing artwork. Ranting. I don't think I'm ranting. I don't think I rant. I just try to keep it real, man. That's all. Keep it real. Keep it real with people. I guess for me, it's like I'm so passionate because I love to see future artists. You know, I'm more in the mindset that can people keep this thing going? You know, especially with comic books and things like this. You know, can the next generation be there? Will they be able to? You know, can we keep the level of really good artwork and really good story writing out there? Keep it going. I don't want to see it die. I don't think it is. I mean, I think it's existed for a very long time. I think it goes through its fluctuations. And right now, I think that you're seeing a lot of indie books and stuff like that coming out and stuff like that. You're seeing a lot of creators coming out with a lot of cool stuff. And I think that's great. I think it's all part of the this thing that we're all going through.
Boom, 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 boom. Just gonna say that.
Yeah. I am truly passionate. I mean, I've been doing this for going on past 30 years now. I mean, there's nothing else. I'm an artist. That's it.
That's it, man.
And I'm happy. I wear that as a badge of honor. I am an artist. When I set out so many years ago, I'm glad that I had people in my corner, especially in school. I remember in high school and stuff who actually believed. They actually were like, you know, they helped me to be able to figure it all out. They were just like, hey, look, you know, this kid he likes drawing. You know, and he has an active imagination and stuff. We need to get him into some programs, and I'm very fortunate the programs existed when they did, and I took advantage of them. You know, I remember doing there was a program that they had. It was at the I don't even know if it's still around, Madison Park High School in Roxbury, ORC, Occupational Resource Center. I remember going there. It was like a half-day program. You go half day there, and then half day the rest of the day you would either go to your home school, or you can go there, do your home school first, and then come there for like, you know, half day, vice versa. But they really specialized in certain trades and skills and stuff. So it was like I took up illustration, and I remember doing a lot of it was like medical illustration. Yeah, I remember that. I remember that was big in the class that I was at, medical illustration. So drawing the skull. But then also there were other programs. Like I remember there was a program for mass art where I was up on the Saturdays going in, and we would hang out with some of the students and stuff. And I remember we filmed a stop motion with a dragon. I do remember that. I remember vague pieces of that, and the dragon was like, oh man, the scope on that, ooh, painful. But it was fun. It was like a chance for us kids who were still in high school to hang out with like students from mass art and stuff, and just to get a little taste of it and stuff. But I remember doing that program for a little bit, and then yeah, and then once it came down to close to me graduating, I didn't know this, but I guess my teachers, they put me in this program for a scholarship. And I remember they called me to their office, and I was freaking out. I was like, "What?" You go through your head as a kid. And I'm like, "What did I do wrong? What did I? Oh my God, did I do something and I didn't remember or whatever?" And it was all these adults, and it was sort of sitting in this room, and then they just said, "Well, congratulations, you're one of the scholars, recipients of this scholarship." And I was like, "Whoa!" And they said, "Well, figure out what school you want to go to." And I remember checking out one school that was on Newberry Street, but it was architectural. It was an architectural school. And I was like, I'm not an architect. I just knew it. Like, I just was like, my brain is not hardwired for that. Much more, my thinking is much more like this, what you're seeing here. Pretty much. Yeah. But I went in, and it was cool. Got to talk to some people. And then the next one was Joe Kubert. I never forget the Joe Kubert school reached out to me and stuff, and I turned it down. I turned it down just because at the time I didn't want to leave Boston. I was scared. I didn't want to leave, it was good for me. I'm glad that when I look back at it, it was good, because I think that if I had went to Joe Kubert School, then I think that I would have just focused only on comic books. Whereas when I ended up choosing Butera School of Art, Butera School of Art was a school that, it was a school where they focused on, commercial art. It was sign painting and then commercial art, but they really had a mandate for students that you're going to work. You're going to be a working artist. There wasn't going to be any excuses or anything. You're going to work in the industry. And they stressed the industry, art industry. Getting work in the art industry. It wasn't locked down to just one thing. It was like the art industry is this vast ocean. Now, we're gonna show you, teach you some certain things or whatever, but we're gonna help you to build your little boat or your raft, and and use that boat or raft to navigate onto those shifting waters of that vast ocean called the art industry. And then from there, that's up to you. It's up to you to try to navigate it and hopefully stay afloat. And so that's what happened. Yeah, and I appreciated that. I'm one of those people where I like when something's put in front of me and stuff, and it's just like, okay, you got to make this happen. When someone's very honest and poignant about it and saying, look, there's a time to play and there's a time when you got to work, and that if you truly want this, and if you're passionate enough, then understand that only through perseverance and really wanting something, that's when you'll achieve it. But you got to want it, and by wanting it, I mean you got to prepare yourself to roll your sleeves up and get down to some serious working. So that's a lot, So yeah, so slowly help build the discipline. And I definitely, I did a lot of partying. I did a lot of partying back in the day, but I knew how to not get caught up in my partying. I didn't become a victim to the partying. I understood that I got to work, and if I got to work, and then once I finish my work, then I can play. And that was always a mandate. But that was a mandate too that I got from my my mom, my upbringing. My mom was very strong on that kind of sense of like work, and then play later. No excuses. Which goes right back to that whole thing with if you want to do a comic book and you really you really want to make it happen, then I would say definitely sit back, do your research, and build a good strategy. I always see people talking about comic books and stuff, and I never really hear people talking about what production, like what it means to do something in production. When the time of from concepting that idea um, writing, getting characters laid out to the point of when you've come to agreement on, from the script to the point where you're doing thumbnails, to the point of edits. Those are the to me those are the most important things, and you don't see a lot of people talk about that. And I think that's a disservice to a lot of people out there who are trying to get into comic books and stuff. It really is. They need to understand that there's a process, and that it's good to take your time and do your research. Don't try to rush everything. Take your time, do your homework. Trust me. If when the time comes and you got everything laid out, you're gonna be so grateful for it. You're gonna be like, oh man, you're gonna be so much. You're gonna be in such a much more better place. Make sure that the hey, all right, man. Thank you so much, Kevin, for hanging out. Have a great meeting, man. But yeah, just make sure that you take the time, do your research, and if you really care about what you're putting out, then when you put it out, you want to feel proud. I always said that if I do a show or whatever, and those are always so if I was to do a show, then you want to feel like you feel proud about what you have. Because the thing about it is, the person who's thinking about buying it, they got to see that on your face. They got to see that you really do. And it's not that false pride either, like the sense of you just, yeah, this is the greatest thing. You start doing the spill and the sale pitch, and because people can read through that, they'll look at that and be like, oh, this person's just talking to talk. It's almost like a salesman, a used car salesman trying to sell you something. And you don't want that. You want to be able to look at what you're doing and be like genuine and be like, yep. And I had this idea, this concept, and this is the story, and it's all being laid out, and this character's doing this, and blah 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 blah. And you really can have a story to go along with your project. I'm telling you, people, you do stuff like that. People will you'll get people endeared to you. They'll be like, oh my god, this person's amazing. This person's they're really in it to make some cool stuff. All right. All right. What time is it? What time? Time. Oh, it's 10:59. Almost 11. Hey, I just want to thank everybody again for just coming out, hanging out. Again, I'm very sporadic when it comes to these things, which is good. That's me. That's Frankie B. I'm very sporadic when it comes to these things. So if the mood hits me, then I go, okay, you know what? I'm gonna go on Facebook and do a Facebook draw stream. And if you want to hang out and check me doing this stuff, then that's cool too. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you very much for hanging out with me. And get inspired, man. I can inspire. Trust me, I look at a lot of different artists out there, pros, my peers, and amateurs, people just starting out. And I'm telling you, man, I'm just like, ooh, it feels like I'm in Artist Alley. Back when I first was going to Artist Alley and stuff. I mean, I love that stuff. I get inspired all the time. I see it and I'm just like, man, look at all this great stuff. People are just energized, they're drawing amazing stuff, they're doing incredible characters and stuff. Yeah. All right, so that's gonna be his cape, and then I have his cape kind of flutter. Yeah, so it's almost fluttering down over here on the back, which is crazy. You can only really see it once I get the colors on it, and that's what happens. This is sort of like a last minute kind of thing, It happens. Dr. Hell. I keep just hearing Baron Asher's voice, man. Oh, I look at those characters and I'm like, oh, that's so incredible. I remember when Jim Terry did Force 5, the names of like I know for the Star Avengers, what was it? The Pandemonium Empire. God, I want that name. That name is incredible. That is incredible. The Pandemonium Empire. Wow. Great name, man. Love stuff like that. It's just fun. It's just sheer it's just sheer fun, sheer imagination. You look at it and you just go, oh my god. It's just, you know, it's not too much thought goes into it. It's just, well, there's a lot of thought. Excuse me, let me just rephrase that. There's a lot of thought that goes into it. But with that said, I think that the imagination for the people who worked on these things was out there, man, and it was wonderful. Like I said, it changed a lot of childhoods. You know, they left their mark, man. They did their job. Changed my childhood. Yeah, why am I doing this? Originally, I was going to put this up, but then I changed my mind. Why not? Why not change my mind? All right, let's see what we got here. Oh.
And right now I'm using a Pentel brush, by the way.
Pentels are great. And again, it's like I still have my inkwell. For a little bit, I was working using going back to my old school inkwell brush. It's just, you know, I go back and forth on these kind of things. It's all based on just speed and time, you know. I posted something, probably this week, yeah, about my Zippertone, and people kind of like that. They saw some of the Zippertone stuff, and one of the things about it is I love Zippertone too. I love it a lot, actually. Zippertone on original artwork, I love it. I love it, you know. And the thing about it is, unfortunately, it takes a lot of time. You know, it takes a lot of time. You know, and as a commercial illustrator, you know, I'm not independently wealthy or anything, so I still make my money by artwork that I do. So if I was to sit there and had to work on something that would take, like, you know, months or like a whole week, whatever, that could be cutting out some options for me, and that's not good, you know. I can't do that, you know. The only time I've ever really worked on it, things really slowed down. It's like, okay, it's not gonna work time, but yeah. So I still have sheets of Zippertone. I got some other stuff too that I want to try out, but most case now it's all about, like, I do a lot of it digitally. I did a lot of in the Kajus and Cowboy comic.
There's going to be a lot of Zippertone effect. I can say that right now. A lot of Zippertone effect, similar to, I would say, when John Byrne went through his phase when he was doing the Submariner, like that. He went through that phase of Zippertone, a lot of Zippertone little stuff. I like it. I think it fits really well with my art, and so I'm excited. I'm excited for people to check it out. You know. All right. Let's see. Boom, boom, boom.
Whew, I can't believe I got 4 cards. I can't believe I did like 4 cards already.
Do a little feathering effect right there. I'm gonna grab this other brush. This brush has a little bit of dryness to it. I think it's my TomBow. This is my TomBow brush. This one right here has a little dryness to it, which is great because you want to do that nice feathering effect. You know, a little bit of dryness. I mean, it still has some moisture in it, but when you get these nice dry effects, you can get some really cool, like, feathering effects on there, which are really great. I love feather effects. I do. Anything that I feel that can really enhance, like, the scene, just to give you a sense of what power is. And usually I'll get a brush like that and pull that out, and then it's just, I know it's drying out, I'll then go to the Pentel, which has a nice fresh ink cartridge in it, and is giving off a lot more ink, and then I can go in there and just, you know, add it in there. And again, let me just stress again, look at that, no bleed in the back.
It's wonderful. He's 30. I think it's 32 point. I'm gonna say that's 32 point black. So
it's really good brand.
I think it's Iconics. I think Iconics does these kind of cards. Off the top of my head, I can't remember the name. Is like escaping me. I think I'm just gonna do it like black, and I just have it crumbling a little bit. Sorry, I'm starting to do my mumbling, which is a sign my brain's like flowing over.
Yeah, that looks pretty good, man. That looks really good. I'm very happy with it.
it's kind of nice to be working on some of these, man. It's cars that are just sort of sitting around. You know, they've been sitting around for a long time. So then he's kind of holding the earth, and I just do a rough interpretation. Do some cracks in it and stuff, like he's digging his hand into it and stuff. That's kind of cool. Yeah, have fun with it, you know. No, I'll probably do a video. Probably do a video where I'm coloring these up and stuff, you know. All right. Oh, cut that off. What's going on? Boy, I've been on here for a minute. For a minute, I tell you. I'm always amazed how much you can get into these, how much imagery you can get into such these small sizes. I think for me, it's always a challenge and a test to see what I can do. You know, and I've seen people put far more stuff in it. It's just, you go, oh my God, how's that possible? It's incredible. All right. So then now I'm just gonna grab my old trusty Pro White. Not Pro White. Frank. Brains going to sleep. Brains dying. Brain cells. I'm gonna grab my Signal Uniball Signal gel pen. There you go, right there. I don't know if you guys can see that. And then this is a fresh one. I couldn't find the one that I already used. Maybe I did toss it. Sometimes I forget when I toss that stuff. I gotta check and make sure I got extras though. I always try to have extras. Okay, and just draw. I like to. That's one thing you'll notice too. I love drawing star scenes. I do. All right. Let's see. Let's do those teeth. All right, I think this is a wrap. All right, so let's bring them all out. So, let's see. Just wrap this one up. This is Mazinger Z. Okay, this is Mazinger Z, and then we got. Let's bring that over a little bit so you guys can see it. So I did those two right there. That's Mazinger Z and Dr. Hell. Which is actually pretty cool. Like I got them sort of facing one another. Can't recall if that's what I was planning to do, but that's kind of cool. And then move those guys aside, and let's pull in this lovely. And this is what started it all. This was pretty much Jet Jaguar versus Jet Jaguar. So it's a Jet Jaguar from the Showa era, fighting against Jet Jaguar that just came out recently on Godzilla Singular Point. So anyway, hey man, I just want to thank everyone for just coming by. Fantastic. I had a fantastic time. This was a great sort of relief after coming off of working on issue 2 of Kajus and Cowboys. And yeah, so I got to check in with my partner, Matthew, to see how issue 3 is looking and when do I have to start working on that. And then we just keep it going and stuff. And the plan is, I believe, don't quote me now, we're looking at summer
2022, early summer maybe. So we'll see. But again, you know me, I post and stuff, so we'll keep everyone updated. But I can tell you right now, I'm really excited. How the story's coming along. The art is phenomenal. It's the best that I can produce, and I'm very happy with it. It's definitely if you're a person who loves or loved a lot of the '80s stuff, especially John Byrne, Herb Trimpe, that kind of aesthetic of art and storytelling, then by all means, that's what I'm bringing. I'm bringing that because I'm a fan of that, and that's what inspired me as an artist. So anyway, let me see. I'm trying to think. Usually, I always try to show some extra stuff that I have. I don't know if I can show anything. I don't want to get in trouble. I don't know. I wish I could show you my Ultraman 2 cards that I worked on, but I don't want to get in trouble with Richard. I don't want Richard mad at me. But I will show you here. Yeah, I'll push these aside. I'll show you. These are the Ultraman cards that I have. My artist. I suppose these are artist proofs that I have. So this is one. I really love this card. So this is the multi versions of Ultraman, and then this is another one. It's another one right here that I did 2020, and then it says in the Mummy Man and Dodongo plus Ultraman. So you got 3 characters in this card. So this, I guess, this from Mummy Man, this character comes out of Mummy Man, or somehow his spirit controls this creature. If I believe, I'm not a huge Ultraman knowledgeable aficionado. That's the word. So yeah, I gotta keep it real with you. It's true. And then let's see. Here's my other AP. This is Ultraman. I try to do these little action scenes. This is really nice. I drew a little ship in there, blasting it in the back. But that's the Ultraman versus Skydon. So let's see, got that one. And then we got a transformation scene. Coronia? I like the way the character looked. When I first saw it, it's like a plant dude. So then, he's this guy, and then he transforms. And he turns into a giant monster. I kind of wish now that I put a helicopter in there. Just saying. Just so you can get a size sense. Because there's a building back there, but so that's going to be better. But hey, what are you going to do? Let me see. And I think that was it. I think there was only 4 cards. Trying to think what else. What else do I have? This is an old one that I did. This was for Project Superpower. Frankie B. watching. Why don't you just read the limited edition came from Dynamic Forces. This was a Scarab. I didn't do too much, but yeah, you see 2 guys right here, and then he's kind of glowing all white. That was a fun one to do. Yeah, pretty simple. Nice blue effect and stuff. That's a fun card. Let's see what else I got. This is another favorite. And I think these are ones that I sort of tracked down. Like, again, I think I probably purchased these sometimes. My old art. I love this character, Kofi. 2011. So that was 2011. I'm amazed I didn't sign this other one, the Scarab. It's kind of weird. Usually I sign my stuff. All right, so this is Kofi. I love this one. Him teleporting, like he's jumping right into the thing right there and come out. And I wanted to do like nice warm grays and stuff with the color on the outside. A little burst. That's an upper deck, official upper deck card. And then what else do I got? I got this one. I gotta get out of here too myself, I guess. You guys are just hanging around. All right, this is when I said earlier about the upper deck booklets. This was a that I worked on. This was for the Marvel Premiere sketch card booklets. So you got Ant-Man, and you got a close-up of Ant-Man, and then boom, you push back, you pull back, and you see that he's punched the crap out of I think his name is Annihilus. This was 2012, so I was pretty close. It was 2012. But yeah, then you get this little image of Ant-Man. Let me see if I can see it on my screen. But he's right around here. and that's in fluorescent, so you get a sense that he's punching. I wanted to be popping out, but he's punching the crap out of him. And then there you go. Congratulations, Emmett versus Niles. This is fantastic stock too. This is really good. 2012 Marvel Premiere by Upper Deck. Well done, well done. What else do I got? What else do I have? This was a Fifinity. They did a bunch of different, their own kind of brands of cards. Fifinity Pups or something. The Female Persuasion. That was 2010. Iconics. That was the name of the company that did the cards. They did my cards too. They do fantastic cards, by the way. So this was Iconic. 10. And then let's see what else. Let's see what else I got before I shut this down. All right, I'm gonna pull out the mega guys. These were, and I've shown these before, but anyway, just in case for new people that might be coming by and being like, whoa, what's this dude doing right here? These were 2 cards. This is the first one. These were like hand-done booklets, right? There was this person who contacted me years ago. So let me stress that, years ago. And this person contacted me. This is when I was really doing sketch cards, and they really loved my artwork. So what they said was, they said, hey man, excuse me, hey man, hey Frank, I love your work. I make these custom cards, booklets, and would you mind doing a sort of trade-off where I make you these custom cards and then you do a sketch, do a card for me or whatever. I think it was something like to that matter. But anyway, he ended up giving me 2 of them. And he also actually gave me 3, and it was a blank one, but he gave me 2. And he said, well, what do you want? And I said, well, at the time, so I would imagine it was 2014 then, because it was Godzilla. I was like, first of all, I said, I love the new Godzilla. So he made that. And this was blank, so it was just a simple booklet. And then he made this one too. And I said, the Shogun Warriors. And so there you go. And so what happened was, after I did it, I forgot what I drew for him, and it probably, like I said earlier, I had a external hard drive that tanked out on me, and it's just sitting there. Maybe I'll take it to Geek Squad, and maybe they can see if they can pull anything off it. But I don't know what I drew for him, or what I gave him. But I remember these cards were sitting in my stack for a long time, and then finally I just said, screw it, I'm going to work on these. And so what happened was, because King Kong Godzilla came out this year, I decided to just go ahead and just go ahead and work on them. So they've been sitting in my card stack for a long time before I decided to pull it out. So this was a piece that I did. And then I decided to do this one with the Shogun Warriors. And I put a bunch together. I try to get as many of the actual Shogun Warrior line in there. Not an easy feat to do such a small size, but I try to get as much as I could. But anyway, yeah. So I guess that's it, pretty much. Yeah. Once again, I just want to thank everyone for let me put that back here. The one that started it all. I'd like to just thank everybody for coming by and just checking out my stuff. And yeah, I'll definitely keep everyone updated on when Kaijus and Cowboys will officially be coming out through Second Sight Publishing. And yeah, we could use all the support we can get from the fandom out there. If you're looking, or you love giant robot, well, you like giant robots, but if you like kaijus and that kind of stuff for the genre, then by all means, there's a lot of indie creators out there that are doing it. I know it doesn't mean you stop not liking the legacy IPs like Godzilla, Gamera, King Kong. I know I still do, and that won't stop me from reading stuff about them. But we're over here on the other side. We're right on the left side of the field, and I think it's important that people be able to see that that there's a continuation, that there are people out there that are trying to keep this genre strong by putting out more different, sometimes very unique kind of IPs. And so hey, we're out there and we're part of that. So anyway, thanks again, and I hope you have a fantastic day. And as always, Keep that art flowing.